All right. Might as well get started. I forgot to start the start the game up. Let me start that up real quick. Load state. Where's save state? Load state. Oh, wait, hold on. Open recent. That's how you do it on this. Alrighty. I have no plans. I just wanted to play Emerald, and I'm not going to play Emerald off stream unless I have to do like hours of grinding. But even then, I'll probably just do all the grinding on stream. So, oh fuck my life, guys. I need to start accepting the fact that I'm getting old, and that I can't drink the same way that I used to. I have to accept that at some point.
Otherwise, I can
stop. All right. Really quick. 4 hours ago, there was an update on the first ROM hack that I was actually going to play for my first Nuzlocke, but that I thought better. Let's see here. So we'll watch that while I try to survive. And then we'll need to get the soy levels up. Listen, there's gonna be a lot of soy this stream. Okay, Ryska? If something so much as like slightly irks me, I might just up and quit streaming. Okay, forever and ever. All right, I'm done. I'm super tired. I'm super dead inside. I'm dead inside on so many fucking levels. We start going to the bar that we like to go to, right? There's this place in Houston called Barbarella's, and we went there last night, and we got there like at opening. We didn't even stay late. But I'm so unused to like going out and clubbing and shit now that I didn't really pace myself on drinking on the pregame. And so I think I took like 7 shots before we left the house. And then we get there, and I have 2 more fucking drinks because my friends bought me drinks. And so, you know, I'm feeling great for like 30 minutes. Right? And it's 80s night, and I love 80s music. So I dance for like maybe 20, 30 minutes max. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm not all right. And there's this patio outside, and I go and sit on these warped ass benches, right? Because these benches have been out there since God knows when, since the fucking dinosaurs roamed the earth. You need to learn drinking like true pros? Ryska, listen, if you had seen me at my peak, all right, at my apex of full degeneracy, I was the pro, all right? I've just dropped several tiers. I used to be an S-tier drinker. I would never get fucking hangovers, literally ever. I didn't experience a hangover until I was like 27 years old. Now I'm 28, and every time I drink heavily, more than 1 or 2 fucking beers, I wake up the next morning like, and I just like, I want to fucking throw up. Luckily, I never throw up. But goddamn, do I feel like fucking shit, dude. Holy fuck. I just sat outside and I watched YouTube shorts alone at this table with my eyes like half open like this, just scrolling. That one's interesting. Look, they're mixing paint. Oh, that one's interesting. He carved something out of wood. Oh, that one's interesting. He's building a machine gun, whatever the fuck it was. And I was just, oh man, I was suffering. And I thought that I was good at one point. And my friend comes out to check on me, right? And I pick up my head from this position, and I guess like I pick up my head, and I guess because, you know, like your balance is all through like fluids in your ears, they had settled in this position. So when I picked up my head, I was like, I just immediately started falling back. I was like, I thought I was good. You go back inside. I'm chill as long as I'm just like this with my head on the table, dude. Just as long as my head is on the table, I'm good. And eventually, like an hour before we had to leave, I finally felt good, right? And I think I scared the fuck out of this couple who were standing near the table, because I just like decided, like, you know what, I'm good. And I just like got up like a fucking zombie, whipped my leg around the fucking bench, right? Started walking away. They were like, Jesus fuck, because I had been sitting there for like an hour. It felt like, maybe more, just like scrolling like this, and I would just go, well. I stand up and just start marching towards the fucking club, and they fucking backed up against the fucking railing of the fucking patio that we were on. Shit, dude. But yeah, we're gonna play Pokemon. Okay, there we go. I'm going to Alex Epstein's book signing. Who the fuck is Alex Epstein? Search. American author. And what does he do? Advocates for the expansion of fossil fuels and who rejects the scientific consensus on climate change. I don't know whether to say congratulations or I'm sorry. See? I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let's see what the update is on this ROM hack that I was gonna do for my first Nuzlocke.
The Legacy version 1.2 just released as the game's first massive update.
What are we
today
doing
we're going to
here?
cover the 17 new features that have been added. I'm also doing a giveaway for a physical copy of Pokemon Crystal Legacy. There's a lot of really important information here, so please just watch the full video, subscribe, and I'll explain the giveaway at the end. Now, the first feature, which I'm personally most excited about, is the introduction of a challenge mode we're calling Crystal Legacy Hard. We're really proud of the teams we've constructed in this ROM hack, so I didn't want to alter them and go against the whole point of the project. Hard mode keeps all teams the same, but adds typical hardcore rules on top of the game. So at the start of a new game, you'll be prompted to choose normal or hard. If you choose hard, first, all your battles will be in set mode. This means that when you feint an enemy Pokemon, you don't get a free and debatably unfair switch into your next Pokemon. The next component is that you are not allowed to use items in battle. It's quite easy to beat any Pokemon game if you spam items, so this simply removes one of the cheesier ways to play the game. And lastly, your Pokemon's level will cap at upcoming gym leaders. Since Faulkner's strongest Pokemon is level 10, this means your Pokemon's level will not go any higher than that. Together, set mode, no items, and level caps are a pretty standard set of rules that make for a very fun challenge. When beaten, your Hall of Fame card will say Legacy Hard as proof of your accomplishment. Now, 1.2 has also done a massive overhaul to the Battle Tower. My playtesters have constructed each level of trainers from 10 through 100 to each have a unique theme. Level 40 is status, level 50 is wacky sets, 70 is baton pass, 80 is the best of Kanto, 90 is the best of Johto, and 100 is legendaries and the other best of the best. Overall, the whole Battle Tower is a lot more difficult, and at the time of 1.2's launch, nobody has been able to beat the level 100 challenge 7 times in a row. So if you're looking for a more serious challenge, look no further. The Battle Tower has also seen the names of playtesters and iconic Pokemon hackers added in. Some people are also saying that they found the E4 rematch and red fights to be too easy. So we've gone ahead and given these trainers stat experience. Stat experience basically works like this. The trainers you fight throughout a game have a disadvantage over you because your Pokemon have been trained. The Pokemon in the E4 rematch and on Red's team will now actually be on the same footing as yours. Red's Snorlax and Mewtwo have also been given a harder moveset to be even more threatening. Now next, in Blackthorn City, we've actually added a move reminder just next to the move deleter. When you select a Pokemon, it will give you a list of prior level up moves you can choose to reteach your Pokemon for free. And this will be extremely helpful for some Pokemon, like Scizor, whose evolve level isn't set, and this has resulted in players missing a desired move like Metal Claw. The Pokedex has also seen some major upgrades. One of
I'm sorry, guys. Not gonna lie. I'm not fucking. I'm not understanding a goddamn word he's saying. I'm not processing a goddamn word that guy just said. Okay, we're gonna look at content suggestions. Maybe something that's a little bit more on brand for what we talk about on stream. Maybe that'll cure me. Oh my god, it's an hour long. The only content suggestion. Oh no, You know, I'm not gonna lie. If I watched Timcast right now, I would fucking kill myself in front of all of you. Let's see what this one
On a
is.
tranquil afternoon of a day in March
And it's only 12 minutes.
2019, political commentators Hassan, Vosh, and Destiny decided to have a friendly conversation.
If you are out there working as a construction worker, is laying down that brick really the ethical decision? What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Stop being a fucking condescending piece of shit just because you read a couple extra books and you try to fucking gatekeep the entire conversation by merging everything back.
We did 2 hours winter hiking, negative 15 Celsius. And I have really enjoyed this winter. We are functional members of society, unlike you guys over drinking bar. Listen. I don't think I've ever been in below freezing weather in my entire life. Like, lowest temperature in Houston right now. It is December 3rd, and it is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 20 Celsius. And this is probably going to be one of the colder days this week. Let me see here. No, tomorrow will be colder. The low is 66 degrees Fahrenheit, 19 Celsius. That's the coldest day this week. So we don't get cold. We don't get cold over here, which is going to be really bad next year when I move to the East Coast. How's it going, V2? When I move to the East Coast, or if I move to the East Coast, up north, then I'm going to be absolutely fucked because I have no experience. I know that you're supposed to like layer your clothing when it's cold. I know that you're supposed to, like people, I guess evidently like it dries out your skin super bad. So you have to like put Vaseline all over your face. It's summer for us. Oh, you're one of those. Oh man, I'm sorry. Living on the upside down part of the world. But yeah, no, we don't get fucking cold weather in Houston. All right. We live in Texas, motherfucker. All right. It's warm year round.
Back to the one fucking piece of philosophy that you read. No, wait, please let me finish.
Whoa. But let's
that's
take a
kinda
step
loud.
back. What managed to make these three titans of internet politics so mad? A philosophy student, alias Rem, had been challenging the three streamers on their justifications for supporting their political positions. At one point, Destiny recaps his argument.
Your feelings
The original
right now.
argument is that Rem believes that if you're going to engage in political discourse and be influential to other people listening to you, that you should be able to ground out your policy positions pretty far back, substantially farther back into philosophical realms than most people would be comfortable
in
doing.
ethics. This is ground out in ethics.
But what does grounding out a political position into ethics even mean in the context of the conversation we are about to analyze? Here we'll need to go on a small tangent, but don't worry. Destiny and Rem actually...
One sec. You will learn in a hard way to dress. Cold weather will teach you. I that's probably true. Everyone has been buying me for like the past year because we've been preparing to move to a colder climate for a hot second. Everyone's been buying me all these thermal clothes for like Christmas and my birthday just in preparation. And so I have a fuckload. All right, catch you later, V2. I have this unbelievable amount of cold weather clothing that I can't even use because if I wear it outside of the house, I'm going to be drenched in fucking sweat, dude. Let's be honest, first year of winter up north, Sondsol will be found dead in his garage with the car running because he heard the exhaust produces heat. Trust me, I'll know exactly what I'm doing when you find me like that, all right? A warm layer on the inside and a skin layer so your inside layer doesn't get wet. Wait, a warm layer on the inside and a skin layer so your inside layer doesn't get wet. I thought it was going to be like, you put on like a thermal, and then you put on like a long sleeve shirt, and then you put on like a flannel over that, and then you put on a hoodie, and then you put on your jacket, right? That's what I thought layering was. Are you saying that I need to put on like a fucking skin suit, some sort of like diver's wetsuit or some shit? Come on, bitch, fight me. God, I want this guy to fucking learn a fucking water move already. Wait, when does fucking... I almost said Blastoise. What's his fucking name? Gyarados. Gyarados. Okay. He doesn't learn a water move until fucking level 40? Bro. Well, that's disappointing. Look at winter coats for cold weather. They usually come in two pieces. One that's basically a raincoat and the other is a thermal layer. Okay.
Referring to a simple concept.
I'm gonna use all the power of my brain.
To ground out, as Destiny says, a political position is to coherently and systematically define what is morally good. Support your definition of goodness in some way, and then check that your political position actually leads to what you have defined is good. Or, if you want to sound like Immanuel Kant, to ground out a political position, you establish a moral theory for which you provide a metaphysical justification, and then you check that your political position coherently fits with your moral theory. Now, checking that your political positions lead to moral things happening might sound kind of obvious. Many people believe they are already performing this step intuitively. But are they now? When is the last time you thought about your systematic framework for distinguishing what is morally right from what is morally wrong?
I feel like people in the Twitch politics like little space that we inhabit, I feel like people have this, and I used to have this idea, like if you're going to, if you're going to talk about politics, you have to have everything grounded out, right? Your political ideology completely rounded out. And I'm not sure if you really do, but one place I know you definitely don't need it is in the everyday world. I've talked to people about like why they think things are wrong. And everyone, I think that the Adam and Sitch guys actually have it right. It's just, it's just, oh, well, it's all moral intuitions. You feel a certain way, so therefore you're going to think one thing is moral or one thing isn't moral. And I think that most people can get by on that because most people, as long as your moral intuitions, get you to the point where you're like, yeah, rape is bad, right? As long as you're not like trying to justify literal rape with your moral system, like you're probably fine, right? Like that type of stuff. I don't know, like people put like a huge premium on like the moral foundation shit, but I don't think that anybody ever uses that in their everyday life, like literally ever.
One of the problems is that as hairy primates, we usually have contradictory notions of what is morally good
I felt like there was a reason
around in our head. Violence is never the answer, but using violence in self-defense is okay. Respecting different cultures is good, but the cultural practice of covering women up is bad. Game of Thrones is a good show. Bran the Broken is chosen as king because he has the best story, and to add to the complexity, political positions are often inherited from parents or teachers, and are treated more like a tribal allegiance than something to morally analyze or develop. So Rem is arguing that because political advocates are going to be broadcasting their beliefs to thousands of people, they should perform the exceptional step of scrutinizing their own views by grounding out their political position.
When we have people who are communists, orthodox Marxists, Stalinists, social democrats, liberal democrats, Rawlsian liberals, all of this shit, right? I don't think there's an easy way for us to say which of these is going to be more moral than the other, unless we can actually ground that out ethically, because there's all these different normative systems that are going to be compatible with different political systems.
One of the major issues is that if one doesn't have a clear definition for what he considers good, then he's at a higher risk of being influenced by gut feelings, in-group biases, or genjutsus, rather than logical arguments, and that can lead one down a path of supporting political positions that don't lead to good stuff happening. Or one might simply hold the correct political position by pure chance, without knowing why it's good, perhaps because his parents happened to be right. Rem humorously calls this being morally lucky.
It's weird talking to leftists who, once you push them a little bit towards the philosophical route, they have zero way of justifying anything that they hold, and you realize ultimately they're literally just getting all this stuff from like either the people that they grew up around.
Oh, like the people on the right that we accuse people on the right of doing, right?
Yeah, and it seems to me they got lucky, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? They are morally lucky.
Hassan doesn't seem to enjoy the use of this terminology on his person.
You can't understand anything I'm saying unless you take a fucking PhD level course in philosophy.
Pretty Boy Hasanabi versus
I'm not smart
Epistemic
enough
Andy.
to describe it in an easy way. I'm sorry.
Not what I said. I didn't say that you had to be well, I mean,
what is this like morally lucky bullshit? Do you want some moral luck too, dog? Is that what's going on? You want some of this? You want some of this? You want me to sprinkle you some moral luck?
No, I don't think I need any moral luck because I can actually ground my political positions.
Okay, well, I mean, apparently, grounding your political positions in moral philosophy is not enough as a standalone to float your content. So you're out here fucking shitting on other content creators. Got it. Nice one, dude.
During the debate, Destiny, Hassan, and Vosh were not convinced that one had to ground out a political position, perceiving it as potentially impracticable.
We live in a real world, and there are pragmatic consequences to choosing not to engage in advocacy because you haven't read the fucking graduate level textbooks necessary to fully understand the position that you're arguing for. If we placed your standards on every advocate out there, we would have like 5 people left. There was
Irish? I mean, who cares if people are dying if they don't have a cursory understanding, at the very least, of Kantian philosophy? They just simply shouldn't argue. They shouldn't argue for different policies
of democracy if they don't understand fucking Rem's graduate thesis work.
All right,
I actually, to use a real life example, yesterday I was outside of an In-N-Out and there was somebody about to give money to a homeless person, and I asked them if they even knew what the categorical imperative was, and they just walked away. I'm sorry, Rem. That's the only bully I'll do you the whole time. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Otherwise, I got your back.
Additionally, elitism was also raised as a potential issue.
Are you telling me then that nobody should be able to engage in any kind of political advocacy unless they have the privilege, money, and time to engage in the high level?
Oh, no, don't give me that.
Wait, Rem.
You know it, dude. You fucking know it, Rem. It is an incredibly elitist argument to make.
To which Rem clarified that the grounding out of a position should only be expected from large political commentators.
I'm saying someone that is on a platform like Destiny, who has millions of viewers, definitely has the moral obligation to do so. And the class of people I'm asking to be more well-trained in ethics are not as many people. It's not the entire fucking world. All I said is for people with a large audience, people that are easily able to influence other people, should make sure that their ethical system is incorrect. Do you, like, how many people is that? I don't know. Hold on. Let me finish. How many people do you think that actually is?
And the related argument to counter the impracticability objection was brought up by Marty, a philosophical savant inhabiting Destiny's Discord server.
Well, I was just going to say that type of criticism that you just leveled can be applied to universally everything, right? So a person that, I don't know, goes up to vote and isn't well informed, right? You could say things like, oh, but he's working 40 hours a week and I don't know, has to maintain his house or his kids or whatever, but that doesn't rid him of responsibility of how to vote well, right? It doesn't also bar him from being a racist, right? But we could always have this justification, well, he's working 80 to 90 hours. The point of responsibility is that you're going to have to find time in order to maintain that. And although it's a reasonable concern to say that, you know, capitalism might offer these extended hours of which a person can't reasonably accommodate that sometimes, what I'm saying is that what kind of type of solution are we going to have other than you just do have a responsibility?
Another concern the free streamers had was that if a movement were to impose such high standards of philosophical rigor upon itself, it could potentially hinder its political effectiveness when compared to rival movements, who would not subject themselves to such standards before engaging in political activism.
So the problem is that if you set too high a bar for yourself, for standards that very few people on your side meet, then you might, then what'll happen is the other side's standards are so much lower, they're going to be more politically effective than your side at all points in time, and pragmatically, you end up losing every single argument in society as a result of that.
Listen, Rem, I understand you have these strong ideas about what might conceptually make the world more ethic, but I feel like, and I'm sorry, I'm coming at you with the feels argument. Actually, no, what I'm saying is about to be completely fucking true. It is ridiculous of you to levy this bar for any kind of public figure engaging in advocacy, and it would make the world demonstrably worse. Not only because right-leaning people, reactionaries, conservatives, cuck-conservatives, libertarians, anarcho-capitalists, and whatever the fuck else would never meet these standards, ever. So they get to make their rhetoric unburdened by these ethical dilemmas.
Almost everyone engaged in public discourse that we can name. Like, I want you to name one person right now who actively engages in civil discourse that doesn't have the time to read a philosophy that you know.
It's not. So again, give me the time. You never told me how much time.
Look, you did
how much time? Wait, how much time? Sorry, Mr. Philosophy Man. I don't know how much time.
I'm asking you a question. Can you not answer my question? Name me one person who does not have the time to read philosophy.
How long would it take? You didn't answer my earlier question.
I did answer, actually. I said 6 months if you were listening, but instead you're just talking your mouth off and not listening to me.
Unfortunately, probably due to the argument's critical nature concerning the professionalism of the three streamers, the debate reached the Vegeta levels of bitterness rather swiftly.
No, you're right. It's actually much.
Vegeta levels of bitterness. Holy shit.
Probably due to the argument's critical
what do
nature
I name
concerning
the
the
Torkoal,
professionalism of the three streamers, the debate reached the Vegeta levels of bitterness rather swiftly.
No, you're right. It's actually much more productive as a democratic socialist or a self-proclaimed democratic socialist to not be able to justify your position because you can't root it in morality, and then instead try to attack other leftists to fucking make yourself feel a little bit more intelligent. It's really great, dude. It's a really pragmatic position. What a great perspective you have. You turn on Rem too, Marty. You tell Rem he fucking sucks shit.
Let me speak. Like, seriously, what is wrong with you people?
Do you know what this reads to me? This reads to me like the most privileged fucking hoity-toity big-brain white boy stepping into the political arena. Oh, well, I really like philosophy. Where I'm taking this is defunding philosophy departments at universities.
So despite the debate's prolonged duration, little ground was covered or explored.
But you guys covered like 5 minutes worth of ground in 2 hours because of how often everybody was misunderstanding everybody. It was real dumb.
Although it must be said that the debate did manage to be kind of funny at times.
I like how every single time axiom is said, it's like really articulated and pronounced.
I know.
Well, it's axiomatic, guys, from the foundational beginning.
Ultimately, Destiny ended up agreeing with Rem.
Like, do you agree with what I said, Destiny?
When I initially, I actually understood your argument the same way as Hassan and Irish Lady did. I thought you were broadly applying this to almost anybody that engages in political discourse. If you restrict it to a more narrow band of political figures, I would agree with you more. I think you should have at least like my level of understanding or even more basic or whatever of kind of what's going on. Yeah, something that speaks a little bit to the arguments that you're making that I've actually repeated a lot in the past that bothered me was I felt like, especially amongst progressives, it felt like people were pushing a lot of low-level positions and they'd forgotten all their higher-level justifications for it. It was something that really bothered me, especially when you saw white nationalists becoming more and more popular. It felt like if I were to pull a person over on the street and ask them, so like people say like, oh, women should get equal rights to men. If I were to ask them, well, why? Why do you think that? It seemed like a lot of people didn't really know how to respond to those types of questions, and that's actually something that really bothered me for a long time.
Oh,
which
okay.
is why ultimately,
it's the same one. I can't catch
dive
Pokemon
into
here.
Philosophical stuff, so that I feel like I can answer questions like that.
The influence of philosophy on Destiny's brand of politics is noticeable to this day. A little while after this conversation, the three streamers, once friends, grew distant, and eventually had a falling out. That in part may also be indirectly due to their different levels of willingness to engage with philosophical thought.
Is that it? All right. Now let's see if there's anything that's a little bit more on topic. Let's see here. Oh shit, you know what? We should watch the debate between what's the robot guy's name? DeSantis. We should watch the debate between him and Gavin Newsom.
And Judge Chutkan did not mince words in her ruling. Guys, writing in part, Trump's 4-year service as commander-in-chief did not bestow on him the divine right of kings to evade the criminal accountability that governs his fellow citizens. Caitlin, Judge Chutkan almost seems to relish a little bit sort of getting up in Trump's grill on some of these issues, it seems, if I could use non-legal parlance.
She's a good writer.
Yeah, she is.
We'll say that.
Yes,
she's a sharp writer. She's a very sharp judge. And in this case, a lot of these cases they win or they lose on what happens before the trial, what the judges do on these big legal questions. Donald Trump was making a very big bid here to get this case tossed, saying that because he had been the president at the time that this had happened, he had some protections. He wanted there to be an immunity because of the Constitution, because of the presidency. And Judge Chutkan said, this just isn't in the Constitution. It's not what the people who wrote the Constitution wanted to allow for presidents, and that if former presidents didn't have the ability to be prosecuted for things that they did in office, then that would not be part of what the Constitution wants us to have as equal justice under law. She says it's essential to be able to bring cases like this, to have justice work in this country. And so
what is the deal with CNN lately, where like their audio gets so fucked out of fucking nowhere? You're like one of the most wealthy fucking news agencies in the entire fucking world. Why do you have
justice work in this country? And so
how's it going, Tron? Why the fuck? I just don't understand. It happens in almost every video I've watched from CNN in the past like 3 months. I just don't know why it keeps happening. They went too far left. Well, actually, there's a lot of controversy right now with CNN because they after the election in 2020, they fired their CEO because they actually had gone too far left, and it basically tanked their ratings immediately after the election because all the Democratic voters stopped paying attention to stuff. And they hired a new CEO that tried to make things more balanced, which slightly, I think, increased viewership, but ended up like pissing off a whole bunch of people at CNN. And then after the first Trump town hall on CNN, where that lady fucking eviscerated Trump with some questions, I feel like that's what happened. Don't quote me on that, but like there were some like really tough fucking questions, and it ended up pissing off so many people that CEO had to step down. And they're actually like trying to moderate their messaging and basically everything about themselves. So CNN is a lot more moderate than it was in 2020 or even in 2021, right? Like they fired Don Lemon because he was just like, his ratings were super down because he doesn't get to dunk on Trump every single day, right? Because Trump wasn't in the news for like, he was in the news, but until 2022, it was like, what are we going to talk about Trump except for January 6th? So that was something that was a big thing for CNN. But it feels like as their stock prices go down, as their popularity goes down because of the perception that they're extremely biased, it feels like their quality has gone down. Soy makes them glitch. It's not the mics. Well, I do hear that they do soak all of their mics in soy milk just to make sure that the leftism comes across a little bit stronger. So maybe that's the problem.
Donald Trump, these arguments he was making, but this is a really big issue that has to get settled. And now we have the judge ruling on this and saying, let's go. We're going to move to trial. There are a couple other things she has to look at and say whether she will, toss certain charges in this case, and some other things he's argued, but this was the big one.
Yeah, Shannon, it sounds like the Trump defense strategy is to say immunity then, immunity
this
now,
is a bad
immunity
match.
forever. I mean, he wants immunity from everything. What's your analysis of what came down from the judge yesterday?
I think it's a very good analysis, very sound. Just like in the civil matter, the Court of Appeals reasoning was very sound too. I do think, from my legal analyst perspective, it's a little bit of much ado about nothing on the constitutionality issue. No question it's a constitutional law interpretation, but it's so fact-specific to this particular president. I mean, yeah, it'll rise again the next time we have a former president running for re-election who's charged with 91 counts. So he obviously is trying to wield a lot of times the First Amendment, as his defense here. It's all pretty much of a red herring, though, because of course common sense non-lawyers would say, of course, a former president can't have a permanent get-out-of-jail-free card, as she wrote. It makes perfect sense not to do that. But our legal system tries to be so fair that no matter how off the argument is, you got to wind through the system that way. And of course, this will cause more delay. But on a legal grounding, it's very, very solid.
Yeah, and I do want to ask you about that point in just a moment. But Caitlin, we also saw a similar ruling from an appeals court on the issue of these civil lawsuits. It sounds like a similar outcome.
Yeah, a lot of people, including Judge Chutkan, were waiting to see what the D.C. Circuit would do on these civil lawsuits. So a bunch of people had filed lawsuits against Donald Trump, trying to hold him accountable for January 6th, that attack on the Capitol. My count, 8 lawsuits at the very least. We're all on hold waiting for this, including a lawsuit before Judge Chutkan. Just on Wednesday, she was saying, we're waiting to see when this is coming. And this decision came out from the D.C. Circuit saying that there is no ability to have immunity broadly for what Donald Trump was saying and doing while he was the president. There's a difference between presidential speech and campaign speech, even if you're the sitting president running for re-election. There is going to be an opportunity for Donald Trump in these lawsuits to go and argue the facts, whether or not what he said on January 6th was part of his campaign or whether it was part of his governance. But that decision is another really big one that Judge Chutkan even cited in her criminal case decision. We have an appeals court weighing in now on this question of immunity, and those cases, too, are going to be able to go forward at least a little bit for now.
Yeah. And Shan, I mean, do you think we're going to see this issue of presidential immunity end up at the Supreme Court? And to that end, it goes back to the point you were saying earlier.
He's not the president anymore. Why would he get
these
the
things
presidential
out
immunity?
in front of these judges, various challenges on all sorts of different grounds? I mean, one would think at some point they're going to be successful in delaying some of these trials, and maybe the federal election interference trial that has been scheduled for March may not happen in March if they're successful. What do you think?
I think there is a pretty good chance that they'll be successful in delaying at least some of these trials past the election. The one in Florida about the classified documents issue, it's complicated just on logistics because there's classified material. In D.C., no question, Jack Smith tried to really streamline this, maximize the chances of doing it fast. Chutkan's moving very fast. I think the Supreme Court probably will take the case just because it screams constitutional issue, even though I kind of wish they wouldn't take it.
And the immunity question in a criminal case in D.C.
By the way, one of our company made tampons for men. It went viral. Everyone took the bait. It was just a marketing trick bringing awareness for trans issues. Let's see if your rightoids over there take the bait. Matt Walsh and Company. Wait, Reiska, can you link that to me? Because I feel like that would be a really interesting thing to see, and then watch it explode over here. Because if there is something like that, you're 1,000,000% right. People like Matt Walsh will take that and they will see, they're trying to turn men into women and women into men, and men don't use tampons. That's exactly what's going to happen. You know what? I might be over my hangover. If I made that noise without immediately wanting to throw up on the spot, I'm probably over the hangover. I'm just tired now.
With Judge Chutkan January 6th, that has to be settled before Trump goes to trial. It has to be as a right for a criminal defendant.
Yeah, they could decline to take it after the Court of Appeals, but I don't think they would.
Do you think the Supreme Court could come down on the side of Trump and saying, yes, you have immunity in that case?
I think legally it's very unlikely. They haven't shown themselves to be particular fans of his arguments, and this one really seems like a no-brainer. That's a weak argument.
All right, very good. Caitlin, Shan, thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, one more news video, and then we're going to watch... Oh, damn it. Did I close out the one that I... Okay. So there's another video... Yesterday, counterpoints. Oh, we'll watch this after this. This news video. I just want to see what the trial dates and primary schedule thing is. But damn it. Yeah, counterpoints. Really chill dude. Who Warhammer guy, can't go wrong with liking Warhammer. Right, and then the old man Landre, who has a mixed past with engagement with different people. But me and him are chill. I like him. I think he's a pretty okay guy. I know that there's been some major controversy with him in the past, with where the Democratic Party he says that they sold him out and used him as a basically like a scapegoat or lied about something that he was doing. I'm not sure anything about that. Don't really care. Because like I'm not doing business with him. So like, do I care if he's, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, he did something like cringy with money? Not really. He's supposed to cringe from time to time. Yes, he has also posted massive cringe. I don't. Does he have Old Man Laundries? No. Okay, I thought that he might link it, but Old Man Laundry's YouTube history also is a little bit speckled because he went on a massive tear against Destiny, and then after he went on that huge tear against Destiny, he was like being friends with Vosh and Demon Mama, right? He was all of that stuff. But then he found out that Vosh has a penchant for looking at Lolicon. But his video on the, criticizing Vosh for watching Lolicon was not super good. But let's see if it's going more viral overseas. Oh, damn it. I wish that I could make it to where Kick wouldn't eat people's comments like it does, but I feel like it's worse if the president tells me that the election was stolen versus Donald Trump tells me the election was stolen. Donald Trump was the president, right, Tron? I don't know what you're... Are you behind in the bot or something? Because I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyways, me and Old Man Laundry, we have talked in DMs quite a lot. And I kind of like talked to him about Destiny and Destiny's community, Vosh and Vosh's community, the general like lefty problem online. And I met him where he was at, because he came into the space not really knowing a lot about the space. And I said, if you break with the lefties on this stuff, on like literally anything, they will fucking attack you relentlessly, just so you know. And then a couple of months later, they like fucking went hard on him for saying that Lolicon was bad. Now, granted, again, his video on the Lolicon stuff was not good. I'll be the first to say it. Right? He said that there were Lolicon shows that Vosh was watching that probably weren't Lolicon, right? They're like very popular, like Fooly Cooley. I've never watched Fooly Cooley. He said that was Lolicon child porn. Probably shouldn't have included that one in there. But there were other ones that were like legitimately like a little bit fucking sussy, right? But because he included the Fooly Cooley and other shows like that in there, a lot of people just latched onto those and then said that he was, freaking out over nothing. Then he became a massive Destiny dick rider based. By that description, he doesn't know what it means. What I think he did was he just cross-referenced anything that had a Lolicon tag on the website that he was looking at. And if it had the Lolicon tag or lolly tag, he included it. But I think anyone could have added those tags. So he didn't like go through and, actually see if every single one of these shows actually was Lolita or whatever the fuck. Right. So yeah, that was a mistake on his part. There were some in there that he was like, do not watch this show. It is disgusting. And I was like, is it really? And I looked up a clip on YouTube. I was like, yo, that's child porn, but like safe for work, sort of. Like, God, that's weird as fuck. So yeah, there were some shows that he actually had a point. Like Vosh watching them is sussy as fuck. I do not remember the name of it. It was weird. Never gonna watch the show. But anyway, yeah. So he's had a tumultuous short online stint. So we're gonna watch that here in a minute. I'm just kind of curious how it goes. Soft porner Ecchi. I don't know how to say that, but yeah, it was really weird. It was really weird, dude. Actually, there's like 3 seconds of a clip that I kind of want to show that when I asked what they were where they were talking about, someone else linked a video of Counterpoints interacting with Cherry.
For the sake of just conceding what's real, if they were continuing the investigation of Hunter or the Biden family at that time, then yeah, they might say, this is too sensitive, we can't confirm or deny these fucking things. Okay? It's a good
I feel
point.
like you should concede on having been an investigator.
Cherry, chill.
Cherry,
Jesus.
I've had fucking people murdered in my fucking arms, you fucking dumb cunt. Shut your fucking mouth.
Oh, okay. My dad died.
Well, who could have
What
murdered
are
them
we
if they were in
sharing?
your arms?
Stop!
I'm cracking the case.
Stop.
I'm the investigator.
God damn it.
Y'all are actually like
My
fucking
family dog
disgusting.
died a couple months ago. What are we sharing here?
Wow, you're a disgusting cunt. You're actually a bad person. You can go fuck yourself in the ass with a fucking 40 cal, you piece of shit.
Wow.
He's just
yeah,
fucking-
I'm the unhinged bad person here. Okay.
Yeah, you actually are.
It's just like 10 minutes of Counterpoints like talking down to her like that, and it's so fucking good, dude. It's so goddamn good. Anyways, we're going to watch the quick news video, then we're going to look at the old man laundry thing, and then we'll see if I can make content happen. But if I can't, you guys can't blame me. Well, actually, you can blame me. I'm the one who decided to drink last night.
He's a former federal prosecutor and an MSNBC legal analyst who, along with, and by the way, also with us is Jennifer Rubin. She's an opinion writer for the Washington Post and an MSNBC political analyst, the author of the book Resistance, How Women Saved Democracy from Donald Trump. Welcome to both of you. Thank you for being with us.
Oh, soy. How women saved democracy from Donald Trump. Resistance. Yes, queen. Sunday going after Andrew. I would pay money. I would pay money to watch Andrew and Sunday in a one-on-one conversation. Are you fucking kidding me? That shit would be fucking hilarious. If you hold the position homosexual can be married, adopt children, and can be clergy, you lose all moral arguments on all other degeneracy. Why can't trans do the same? They can. Why can't women do the same? That's fine. Why is prostitution not a sex preference? I don't understand this one. I actually legitimately don't even understand why that one is included in here. Sex out of wedlock, that's based. I do that all the time. This is the stupidest fucking tweet I've ever seen from Andrew, and that's saying something. Say yes, Quinn. Take your soy hit. Yeah, let's fucking go, bro. I need another soy hit right now. Why can't trans people do the same? Why can't women? Why can't prostitution be a sex preference? What does it mean for prostitution to be a sex preference? Prostitution is just paying for sex. Like, you prefer paying for sex rather than having a committed... Maybe it's a fetish giving women money for sex, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Yes, if you decide out of convenience that some religious rules are arbitrary, doesn't it open the door to others being arbitrary too? Why fear this possibility? I mean, I'm going to agree more with Sunday than maybe this is Sunday admitting he has to pay for sex. I think Sunday is married, right? Or am I wrong on that? Does he just have a long-term partner? I think I've heard that Sunday's with either a non-binary or a trans person, so I don't want to Oof, he is married and has to pay for sex. Fucking retard. Retard on retard violence. Right. But Sunday, again, like I've said this a million times. I feel like if Sunday could be good faith with people that he disagrees with sometimes, like you could have some like really interesting conversations, right? Like I feel like having a conversation with Sunday would be entertaining. It would be really fun to have that conversation. But Sunday would never be oh, look. They're talking about me. God, this is long. Holy shit. Fuck. If Sunday could detach his lips from Vosh's ass cheeks. Sunday's biggest problem is just like being unable to interact with people who he disagrees with in a good faith way, unless he is already like ideologically like required. Unless he's ideologically required to agree with them, like if they're a trans person, right? Unless their ideas are just too far, right? Like he'll sit there and he'll be like bad faith with someone like Antenna Cactus, right? Even though she's trans, right? But if it's Demon Mama and there's something that he disagrees with on her analysis, he has to sit there and like steelman it, right? Like the trans genocide stuff. Even he doesn't agree that genocide is the best term. And he said so on his own stream. But still, the next day after he streamed and talked about how he doesn't think that genocide is the correct term, right? Because it's too fraught, right? To quote him. Even though he agrees that genocide isn't the correct term, he's still going to use that term. Okay, really quick, before we continue watching the news clip. Where the fuck? Where the fuck is Lava Ridge Town? Okay. That's Lava Ridge Town. I'm right here. Oh, it's right here. So how do I go down to it? How the fuck do you get there? I thought we were going to get to Flannery today, but I don't think we will because I literally have no fucking clue how to get to fucking Lava Ridge Town, dude. Okay. We'll keep watching this and I'll explore, but I know that this next route is supposed to be like absolutely fucking ridiculous. Why is this route ridiculous? This is route what? Oh shit, I started a fucking battle. Okay, let's take this person out really quick. Okay. Where am I? Route 113. Okay. So I could get a Slugma, Skarmory, or Spinda here. I'm probably going to end up getting a Spinda, but I don't want that. Do I have a level 16 Pokemon? I have a level 14 Pokemon. If I level them up to level 16, then I can possibly increase my chances of getting either Slugma or Skarmory, but I would really like a Skarmory. Ruby and Sapphire. Pokemon Emerald. Okay, I think it's the coughing. The coughings that have self-destruct. I wish they had like their moves as well. Maybe if I route 113, maybe this one has it. Gen 3. It does not have Emerald. Does not have their moves. Psychic is strong against poison. Fuck, I don't even know what moves are strong against what Pokemon, dude. I can't even fucking remember. Pokemon Gen 3 type chart. Open image in new tab. Weak to ground and psychic. But poison is strong against grass. Oh, just strong against grass? Okay. Doesn't affect steel. Who is my tankiest Pokemon? Okay, I'll press play on this while I look at the stats. When I was a kid, I played Final Fantasy. Are those new ones any good? It would be interesting to try those after a long time. When I first started streaming, I say when I first started streaming, 2022, I think last year or the end of 2021, I started playing Final Fantasy 7 on stream, and I really enjoyed that, but it got to a point where I really enjoyed the game, and I started playing it off stream, and then I was like missing out on some stuff. Wait a second. I just scrolled over on Discord, and I see Chud is in a voice call with that fucking Fairy Queen girl that we were talking about last stream. Are we going to do some stream sniping super quick and see what the fuck they're talking about?
So what I'm going to do as far as that goes is I'm this week, and really for I don't think I want to
he went
talk
over
about transitions,
counterpoints
to be
too.
honest with you, right? Obviously, I did recently this past week, and I did that to be very clear about what my positions are and about like what the server is for. But this week, it's about women's issues. We're not talking about trans issues. So like, I'm going to be reading Andrea Dworkin. I'm going to have open call-ins. I'm going to talk to somebody who used to work.
Wait,
as a sex worker.
whoa. Reading who? Andrew Dworkin. What's that about?
Hi, Chud. Thank you. Here, let me put on my stuff. Sorry. You can't hear me. Yes, my audio's good.
I love how this girl. She's actually. I think that women are just master manipulators. Sorry, this is my red pill moment. I think that women are just master manipulators, especially rad femmes, because what they do in this space is they say the most like unhinged, wild shit you could possibly fucking imagine, right? Like we watched her talk to Tom, and she basically said that women just need women in the Twitch politics space, right? She has like the, I have to talk about theory type stuff and all that. Women don't have a space, cis women don't have a space here in Twitch politics, and we need a space where we could talk about our periods, and a space where we can talk about menopause and the joys of the female orgasm and our struggles with menopause. And it's like, bitch, there is not a single woman over the age of like 35 maximum in the space, minus that old lady that hangs out in spicy chat. So all these like bullshit reasons for wanting a cis woman only space. And again, I don't care if you want to have like a white only space, right? Or, a black only space, or a men only space, or a cis woman only space, or whatever the fuck. I really don't care, right? You don't even have to give a reason. We have the First Amendment, freedom of speech here in America. Fucking do whatever you fucking want. I actually really genuinely do not care, right? But when you start like trying to justify it, right? And then your justifications make you end up saying that you need to like talk about menopause with your fucking other 24-year-old female friends, and you need to talk about the joys of the female orgasm. I'm going to say that, okay, this is a little stupid. The only thing that was like actually super disgusting was her insinuating that a male victim of childhood sexual assault could never understand the struggles that a female who is the victim of childhood sexual assault. If a little boy gets raped, he'll never understand how much worse it is for little girls to get raped. Which I think is actually fucking disgusting. That's like an actually fucking disgusting thing to say, in my humble opinion. So like, the more she opened her mouth, the worse the stupid fucking Discord drama that she manufactured became. And this is where the master manipulator part comes in. Because not only did she like have all these stupid fucking takes and, like, oh, that's a little cringe, whatever the fuck. Then she says the thing about little boys not being, as affected by being raped as a little child compared to little girls, which I think is fucking disgusting, right? She then master manipulates herself to go onto every single fucking panel host / larger streamers show to soy out and say, oh, I'm being persecuted, which is what all the fucking radfems say, what all the fucking, right-wingers say every single time someone wants to criticize them for doing something stupid. They should have retard only space. Hey, that's my stream. Hey, you know what, Reiska? This is the retards only safe space. If you come into my stream and you're a retard like me, feel free to stay around, all right? No one's going to be able to bully you except for me. That's why on the Sondsol Discord, we are starting white chat. Don't actually do that. We'll get fucking crucified. This is her reaction if a boy is taken advantage of. Oh shit, here we go.
It's a woman.
A woman?
Yeah, she's having sex with a boy.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, but she's ugly, right?
Well, no, not really. It's the kindergarten teacher, Miss Stevenson.
The blonde?
Yeah.
Nice.
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 Nice. Some young boys having sex with Miss Stevenson?
Yes.
Nice.
Nice.
You sure they've had sex?
So stupid.
Good.
You're quite loud,
Okay.
but I've turned the mic down a bit, so it should be okay.
Oh, okay, you're sorry.
I was going to say you're quite shrill, but obviously that's a bit of a misogynistic term, so we're going to be careful, okay?
Listen, I'm here to, what is it, shill and shrill.
Okay.
That's why I hopped on, so.
Okay, what do you want to talk about? What's going on?
Well, you've already covered some of the stuff that's already happened. I'm here mainly to capitalize off of the exposure. I'm going to start streaming more regularly next week.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm here. I'm also here because I'm looking for panelists. I'm looking for people who would like to come on to the show. I'm hosting all cis women panels on women's issues this week on Thursday. Yeah, this week on Thursday, we're having a panel on mother and daughter relationships. So we're going to...
Man, I'm sorry. And this is going to be not my, it's not an issue with me, okay? Because I don't watch anyone's panels unless I can make content out of it. Or unless it's really funny. Twitch is not the place for you to try and soy out and do like cis women only panels. I'm sorry. No one's going to watch your fucking panel, especially if you're going to start talking about like deep philosophy, if you're going to start talking about Sylvia Plath and shit. No one's going to watch it. It's the topic at hand. It's the fact that Twitch is a very left-leaning space, and you're specifically saying cis women only. You're doing everything right except for having a women's only thing. Because can you guys tell me any cis women who are interested in the radfem stuff that are popular on Twitch that would go onto a fucking 2-viewer Andy's stream? Probably Lav. That's literally it. That's like literally the only person larger than this girl that I can think of that would be willing to waste their time going onto a 2-viewer Andy's panel to talk about radfem shit. Lav isn't popular. She's a popular hate. People are going to be like hate watching her constantly. Lav would nuke that shit. They're going to be agreeing on everything. And that's the other thing. If you're going to have a bunch of like radfems all together on one panel, all it's going to be is just a cope circle about how much you guys hate fucking trans people, right? Even if that's not really what the point of the show is. For some reason, and I can make a guess, right? But for some reason, radfems have this like obsession with trans people. It is actually obsessive. They obsess over trans people just like trans people obsess over trans people. It's just that one has like literally no room for critiques for trans people, and the other one literally can't talk about anything except for how much that they hate that trans people are invading their spaces or whatever. Like that's literally all the panels are going to be, despite whatever her efforts for it to be a different kind of show is going to be, you know?
Talk about the boy mom phenomena. We're going to talk about like the sexist stereotypes between mother and daughter relationships, jealousy. We're going to talk about how sexism is passed down from your mother, from your grandmother down to daughters, and the tension that can occur between those relationships as a consequence. So I have a lot of things that I want to talk about this Thursday. So part of the reason I'm here is because I'm looking for people who would like to come on to those panels.
Okay, so just talk me through. What's the criteria for getting on this panel?
So for this particular panel, I'm looking, every woman is a daughter. So if you're somebody who has strong opinions, if you have a relationship with your mom.
Oh my God, no. I don't care about any of that. I mean, you say you don't want any trans on. What's that about?
Well, I think that a lot of the content that we see here, sorry, I'm just going to move the camera a little bit. I think that we deserve to have panels that are specifically related to cis women. And I think that like it's fine for there to be other panels that are inclusive of trans women. But when I looked and when I've tried to find other servers and other spaces that are specific to cis women, and I can't really find them. And I think that that is a barrier to bringing more cis women into the conversation. I think that the cis women who are a part of this space are typically progressive liberal women. And I would like to see a diversity of thought amongst the women that come onto these panels. So from conservative women. From
good luck with that because this space is dead.
Yeah, true.
Well, I know.
Also, you can't really do anything. Like you're not like jumping into a place that already has like a good niche in it, right? Oh shit! You know what? Before I accidentally overlevel my fucking marsh tomp. Let's go back to Flannery and see what her Pokemon Emerald. Okay, level 29. I got plenty of room. Plenty of room to level up. Radfems are just mad that the hottest trans women are hotter than the hottest radfems. I mean, yeah. But like the problem is, right? Like I had this argument in Wix Discord yesterday where like my position is if you want to have this fucking, cis woman only space, I don't care. Do whatever you want to do, I guess. I can't find it in my heart to fucking care. I just can't. It's not something that I have in me, right? You have a 30-person Discord and you're not letting trans women in. Cool. All right, that's fine. But the reasonings that she gave were so easily criticizable, right? You could just say, I want it to be cis women only because that's what I want. Fuck you. It's my server. Okay, cool. If you start talking about how little boys are less affected by childhood sexual assault, then I'm going to criticize you. All right. If you start talking about how, you know, you need to talk about your fucking menopausal fucking worries for when you know, that you're going to experience in 20 or 30 years, right? Like, that seems kind of stupid. It doesn't seem like that's something that's actually affecting you whatsoever, or something that like you should be that worried about because it's going to happen in 30 years, you know? So, yeah. And then you want to talk about all this stuff and you want to do all this stuff in a space that is dead, or like in its like final, no, I was about to say in its final death throes. I think the final death throes were like the, oh shit. What was the name that Chud gave to the drama with the all the black people on Twitch, like the MF Endless guy and the Bink Princess? I don't want to be an asshole, but these people are these people seriously saying we do not talk enough about women's issues? At least here, it's literally every day on the news. Yeah, I know. Which is another reason why I think it's really stupid for people to like soy out about like women's issues not being talked about enough, when literally the entirety of like from my high school years, right? At least since I was, 15 or 16 years old, like all I've heard about was like feminism, right? People hating feminism, people explaining feminism, the pay gap, right? Gender roles, et cetera, et cetera. Like, we talk about this shit fucking constantly. We've talked about it constantly for fucking at least a decade or more. And then we want to say that we're not talking about it enough? Like, you're coping so fucking hard. It's actually fucking insane.
Twitch poll is dead, but I don't know. I guess another reason I'm here is I'm looking for advice from you. Like, what should I do? Because I don't know what to do. Like, I'm trying my best. Like, I've made friends with other people in the community. I've made connections. What do you think I should do, Chud?
I don't know.
I know
Look, I've got to be honest with you, okay? I'm going to be really blunt. I feel like when I watched, I called you a bitch the other day, okay? Now, obviously, we're now speaking, and nothing's happened so far that makes me want to say that, so we're going to chill a little bit, okay? My thought process with you, though, is you feel like the kind of person that's come in, and you've got all these ideas and stuff, which, sure, that feels good to you to have those ideas, but quite often, people
feels good to have ideas, doesn't it?
Ways of conceiving of things and doing this don't really tend to get very far, and people aren't really that interested in that kind of content, and it kind of falls by the wayside. Like, I think you always need to be putting content first in your head as a small creator to try and get people interested into what it is you're doing. And it seems like your first thought process is, I don't really care about if you want to have a certain type of women, primers and all black panel, no problem. But you're more about the ideas, and I think, well, where's the content or interest going to come from in that panel show?
Ability to
Well, so I think that there are a lot of women who are interested in that content. Now, that I admit that like the type of content that I want to produce is niche in that it is specific to women, is specific to cis women. But I think that there are lots of women who would be interested in listening to a panel like that and into joining a panel like that. So I would agree with you that that there is a struggle between trying to maintain, as you put it, my ideas and like the positions that I have, and also putting out content that's entertaining. So,
because I mean, obviously, I'm thinking of this more from a drama perspective, and I'm not the expert on everything. I've got a reasonable like success doing this and earning a living from it. But I think that for me, I remember that Prime did an all-white panel and it caused an uproar. My thought process would be, let's do a cis woman panel, promote it heavily on Twitter, get some firebrands on. I think Lav's kind of knocking about, trying to get back into it. I'm sure she would probably come onto something like that because she's on the kind of cis women train. I don't know who else, but yeah, just some big kind of figures, and you probably could get a few hundred people watching that. And yeah, I think that'd probably be a fairly entertaining stream for people that are into that sort of thing. I just think that it's great to have your ideas and you can introduce it and talk about that stuff, but you've got to think, who can I bring on that's going to be good content? How can I promote it to virality of the promotion, get people quote tweeting it going, I can't believe that someone, is going to do a cis only panel. I don't know, it's my ideas. I think that would probably be the way to go about it. But
no, I think that's a good idea. And one other thing that I want to continue doing is going onto other people's panels, especially open call-ins, open streams. I know.
1 second. I'm sorry, bro, but why are you so harsh on excluding me from chat? I'm not commenting anything TOS. Yes, you constantly do, actually, which is why I keep on banning you. And you profess to be anti-Marxist. Why can't you just tolerate other people? Because you talk about raping people in retaliation for an attack that didn't directly affect you, number one. Number two, even if it did directly affect you, it still wouldn't be acceptable. Number three, you're really fucking annoying about it because then you act like a victim when I ban you from my chat. like you have some sort of right to be in my chat. You have no right to be in my chat. I have no obligation to keep you in my chat. And honestly, I'm going to keep you banned from Kick But I'm going to keep on just timing you out on YouTube because it's funny. You claim to be anti-Marxism. Both Marxism and fascism are anti-free speech. But me banning you from my chat isn't anti-free speech. It's anti-annoying high schooler who is a extremist radical. This has nothing to do with Marxism. Just because someone doesn't want to fucking listen to you go on coping about fucking Arabs all the fucking time doesn't mean that I'm a fucking Marxist. I'm not a fascist. I didn't say that you're a fascist. I think that you're a retard. I think that you're a bad person. I think that you are as much of a radical as the most radical people that we go over on my stream. Why do you place so much moral judgment on my political views? I would place a lot of moral judgment on anyone that has said in their entire life that because of a terrorist attack in a different country, that people the world over should be able to rape Arab women. I think that rape is pretty immoral. I think that being a racist is pretty immoral. I think that finding a group of people that you personally dislike and then justifying their rape, justifying their murder, justifying, placing, additional restrictions on that ethnicity, I think that's pretty immoral. You banned me after you timed me out for that comment for a different comment. Yeah, because you kept on saying fucking unhinged shit. I won't talk about Palestine, Israel unless it comes up. How about just don't talk in my chat? I'll time you out next time you come through. Catch you later, buddy.
That Prime has open panels, I think on Tuesdays and Thursdays at about 11 p.m. I've been on Wick's show quite a bit. I've been on many of his panels as well. So another way that I hope to maintain a presence here is by going on other people's panels and sharing and debating and arguing with people, which is what I've been doing for the past 7 months. But now I'm trying to redirect the ship to actually doing my own content as opposed to going on to other.
Do you think you're interesting? Have you got any interesting perspectives?
Do I think I'm interesting? I don't know. I think that other people are interesting though, and I think that I'd like to talk to them. And I'd like to hear what they have to say, and I would like to ask them questions. Other people have enjoyed having me on before. It's kind of a weird question to ask. It's weird for you to ask me the question, but it's weird for me to know how to answer it, right? I would like to think that I'm interesting. I honestly don't know that I am. I do know that this is really blown up in a lot of places, so I guess I must be of some interest. I don't know.
Okay. The interest is that you've done something controversial, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, I guess the concern would be you get pigeonholed as some anti-trans person, which,
right.
It's not I don't care from a moral perspective or whatever. It's just that can be a pigeonhole, and then people are like, oh, that's the turf or whatever, and that could affect your growth, right?
So what I'm going to do as far as that goes is I'm this week, and really I don't think I want to talk about trans issues, to be honest with you, right? Obviously I did recently this past week, and I did that to be very clear about what my positions are and about what the server is for. But this week it's about women's issues. We're not talking about trans issues. So I'm going to be reading Andrea Dworkin. I'm going to have open call-ins. I'm going to talk to somebody who used to work.
Whoa. Reading who? Andrea Dworkin. What's that about?
Well, part of what I want to do with my stream is I want to promote feminist theory. So I want to read.
Wowee! Massive market for that. Brilliant.
I know that there isn't, and I get. I know that it's not going to be the most clickbaity thing. But,
okay, listen. Okay.
But listen, I believe.
What do you want to do with your channel? Do you want to grow and be big, or do you want to have a little cozy space to talk about women's stuff? What is it you're after?
Obviously, I would like to get big, but but at the end of the day, if I have to go towards having a cozy little channel where we talk about women's issues and where it's a small space where we can do that, then that's what I'm going to lean heavily more into.
I haven't used Repel.
But I still obviously want people to know that it exists, and I want people to feel comfortable coming in and talking to me. But at the end of the day, if that's all it is, then that's fine with me. That makes sense.
Honestly, just asking me to come on is probably, I'm not obviously a massive creator by any means, but it's 300 people watching, that's something, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And I think some people are a bit way to do that, but generally speaking, I'll speak to someone if they want to come on, it's whatever, But yeah, I guess that my real take would be, if your focus is on feminist theory, of course, that's like coming on and saying, I want to do Karl Marx content and stuff, right? People aren't going to be broadly interested in that. But if you do want to have both, the way to do it is to have that as a basis, like I say, bring on some firebrands, have some spicy topics to talk about the feminist theory, promote it as the cis women only panel, and I think you'll be off, to be honest. I think I could probably get at least some views, maybe, if you keep doing it every week or something. Would that be the plan?
That's the plan. Yeah. So the plan is to stream. My goal is to stream every night from Monday through Friday from like 8 until like whenever I get too tired and I need to stop. But roughly like the goal is for like 2 to 3 hours from like 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time up until whenever I choose to stop. And I plan to have like 2 days where I do something where I interview another woman or I have a panel and we talk about an issue. And then the other 3 days I'll either be on somebody else's panel or I'll be reading theory or I'll be having a debate.
Fucking, we gotta talk about. We're gonna have a nice long conversation with a random fucking person that nobody's ever heard of about menopause. As 20 fucking year old, like random nobody is on twitch.tv talking about theory. You're not going to get, I'm sorry. Like it sounds harsh, but nobody wants to go to a theory channel and watch them. Do you guys know a single like theory channel on Twitch that like gets any kind of momentum whatsoever?
About the theory or about the book that we're talking about. And I want to pick books that are big books that are controversial because you're right that it's not going to be great big content that most people probably don't give a shit about what Judith Butler has to say. But I have to tell you, as heady as that stuff is, I hear that name, Simone de Beauvoir, and a lot of names like that thrown around this space quite a bit, right? And I think it would be really cool to actually have the text on the screen and for us to actually have a conversation of what the text actually says. I think that could be really beneficial, especially since a lot of people bring up those names and talk about them frequently in conversations.
Okay, I'm very very skeptical. And when you say beneficial, what benefit do you hope to bring exactly?
Education, I guess. I mean, letting people know like this is exactly what Simone de Beauvoir, this is what Judith Butler actually said. And we can disagree because there are different interpretations. Like even in a course where we all have the same text, we can come away from the same book with very different interpretations of what the book actually means. So what I would like to do, instead of us all arguing about like what it was that Judith Butler or all these people said, to actually have the words on the screen and for us to actually sit around and talk about what those words mean or what the right interpretation of the book is. Which I know is not going to be easy for everyone, but
I reckon
but it's something I want to do.
You got about 6 months with that approach, to be really blunt.
Okay.
Because you'll get some people maybe interested in it. It depends if you've got the funds and you've got like a job, I presume. So you probably, if you're happy to do it as a hobby, maybe it'll be longer than that. But if growth is your concern and you're not growing, which you probably won't after that period of time to talk about theory and stuff, I'd imagine you probably give up after about 6 months.
So then you're
I feel really harsh. I'm expecting
cool.
you to take a bit. I've seen you
spend,
elsewhere and you're kind of like popping off your Tom and stuff. I feel like I'm slapping a child around, to be honest. I don't mean to be so brutal, but I'm trying to be realistic. I think that if your focus is education, there's a short growth span for that you're going to achieve. And if you can make it content as well, sure. But the problem is if you promote it as a provocative thing and you've got like Lav and I don't know what other women would come on exactly, and then it's just, let's read this feminist theory, people are going to be a bit shortchanged and probably tune out. So, I think you probably need to maybe have that as maybe the final topic, but the first topic should be, if it was me, I'd do we're doing a cis woman only panel and I'd probably do a trans topic as the first thing to spice it up, because obviously people might well complain about that and go, I can't believe they're talking about trans issues without having us on. I don't know. I have to say as well, though, because nowadays there's not as much interest in these panels as there used to be. I mean, Wick's like 100 viewer Andy now, I think, and Prime is 50 or so. So.
You know what? That may be true. And I have heard a lot of people, you're not the first person to say the Twitch poll is dying. Beckett has said it. I've heard a lot of other content creators say the Twitch poll is dead, right? But I would still like to do this. And I would still like to make this content available. Even if it's not going to be everyone's favorite, I would still like to promote it. Now, as far as the 6-month growth thing is concerned, I think you're right. I think that people will probably, I understand that not everyone is going to really like the work that I do, but I think that the work that I want to do is.
Why is it that we call menopause menopause when it's actually women that have to suffer through this? Just another way for the patriarchy to hold us down, guys. Let me tell you guys something. It's lucky we're on a low viewership day because I'm hungover as fuck. If the Pokemon, having Pokemon Nuzlocke in my stream title on YouTube generally has been increasing my viewership with a bunch of randoms. If I start covering this fairy queen girl and making fun of feminists, they're all going to think I'm like a Sargon type, and that's going to really suck. That's going to really suck for both me and them when they realize that I'm actually like a soy cringe fucking bleeding heart left-leaning, sock dim type dude.
It's important, and I think that it matters. And I think that if you're right, that I will have to indulge in some drama things now and again. But I think if I do that sufficiently and consistently, so is the goal then to have the drama to pull people in and then to give them the book at the end? Is that maybe the best approach?
I feel like I'm a recruiting officer in the midst of World War II, listening to another soldier tell me about how they're going to defeat the Nazis, and I know that they're going to be dead within a couple of days probably. That's how I feel right now because I've heard this about fucking 200 times. I think it's important. I'm going to change the space. Never goes anywhere. No one is ever really that interested. And people give up having not really grown. So I actually feel really harsh. Normally I wouldn't care, but I feel very brutal saying this. I just think that you think it's important. You're probably
We're
going to get
naming
10
her
viewers.
menopause if nobody can think of a better
but
name.
You're going to get 10 people watching. You're going to do the important stuff to 10 people.
Name the
Like, would you
spin
be
to
happy with that?
chat, please. I do not want to name it
If
menopause,
it's
but it
consistent
will
with
be
what I want to do, and
menopause
if it's
unless
consistent
someone
with
gives
the
me
values that we want to
something.
promote in the long run, then yes, my main concern is creating a body, a library of work that people can easily access, and a library of work that is beneficial for other people in the space and even people outside of the space.
Nobody's
and
going
so
to
at the end of
look
the
at
day,
it.
like that's what I hope to get out of it. Like I hope to get out of like doing content that I feel proud of, that's meaningful to me, and making connections with other people in the space as well, which is something else I'm planning on doing and have done for the past 7 months. So.
Look, I think, you know, one thing that is worthwhile is you can make connections with people, and you know, you can make friendships maybe until they stab you in the back at a moment's notice, of course. But yeah, if you meet someone that you do find trustworthy, there can maybe be a connection there. So yeah, that's probably the most worthwhile part of it. I was thinking about it earlier though. So where are you going to be streaming?
It's
YouTube
menopause.
and Kick. I'm bungling about the technology though, to be honest with you, so I haven't figured out how to do Kick yet. But I'm right now just streaming on YouTube for now.
Okay. Because yeah, multi-streaming would be my first thought process. Is that's kind of critical as a smaller streamer. Just get yourself out there as much as you possibly can. You know.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. So multiple streams. Sorry.
That's okay. What problem are you having exactly with the multi-streaming thing?
Well, it's bad because I've been here for 7 months and there's no excuse for it. But there are lots of buttons and like OBS is weird to figure out. Like I feel like if you've been gaming and you're really into tech, like a lot of this stuff is easy for you to do. But to be honest with you, like even though I've been around and I've been on panels before, there's a whole bunch of information that I had no idea how to do. Like I had a person just explain to me yesterday how to create overlays in stream elements, and I had no idea what she was talking about before she told me that website. Right? There are all sorts of little itty bitty things that I just don't understand how to do, and so that's a hurdle that I'm trying to overcome right now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think a lot of this is.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm like just I've been doing it for so long and I can't imagine having trouble with it. Like it is not hard to set up a new scene, right? Like watch. If we go to, let's do that. And we go here. Let's make a new scene. All right? Scene 2. All right? We make scene 2 right here. How are we going to make this? All right. Well, I want to make sure that there is a camera. So let's go to video capture device. Whoa, video capture device. Or no, add existing. This one. I think that's the one I'm using now. Uh-oh, look, that's me right there, guys. I just put myself into a little corner, right? You don't even really need to have chat on screen. It doesn't actually help all that much except for posterity, especially if you're doing debates like this, right? So we have our camera right there. It automatically already gets your audio. You don't have to add audio source unless you're doing something else. But okay, let's say I want to show my screen. Let's just go here, window capture. Oh wait, let's not do window capture. Let's do, where is it? Display capture. Add existing, right? Or you know what? Let's do create new just to show my point, right? Create new. All right. Now we have this. Oh, look, it's my other screen. I don't like that screen. Okay, well then let's just change it over to here. Okay, now I have that one. But oh, look at this. There's an overlap on my thing. But if I look over here, if I look right here, guys, what is that? Oh, the display capture is over the video capture device. If it was below it, now it's behind the camera. Click, drag. Look at that. You are now streaming. You're now streaming. It is just like the most unbelievably easy thing to do in the entire fucking world to set up OBS just to stream. It is so not hard whatsoever.
Kind of self-taught, really. There's a lot of YouTube tutorials.
Also, I'm pretty sure, like, especially if you download like Streamlabs OBS or Stream Elements, it gives you like a step-by-step tutorial when you have no scenes to set up the next scene.
And they will show you step-by-step how to do it. That's how I've learned a lot of it. I mean, I'm kind of a boomer myself with this stuff. But yeah, multi-streaming, that is a bit more technical, but there are guides you can do it. There's implements you can use for free on OBS. Someone said in chat, have a simp do it for you. I mean, I don't know if you have simps yet, but yeah.
No men
I don't know
allowed.
if I have any simps, but I do know that I have a lot of friends. And you know what? This is something else too. Like, to be honest with you, like I've gotten a lot of really great feedback. I've really been overwhelmed and feel really blessed with how many people have been supportive. I've had a lot of friends who have reached out, a lot of people that I didn't even know that well, or who I wasn't even really that close to, or people who were angry at me before who reached out and were really supportive. Like surprisingly, even though like some of this has been pretty hard and like I have had some friends leave, like it's actually been in a really weird.
Really quick, I will say this. The only thing that I think right now that I have trouble with when it comes to OBS is for some reason my little overlay thing here. See, it's a GIF because there's like moving elements down here. And whenever that GIF starts over, if I move back and forth, maybe we'll capture it. But whenever the GIF starts over, it freezes my camera. Oh, maybe it doesn't anymore. Okay, well, that's fixed. Now I'm going to keep my fucking overlay thing on. I was having trouble with that for a couple of days, and I could not figure out why. I still don't know what the fucking problem was, but it seems to have stopped because I'm not freezing on my camera. Am I? Nope. Okay, cool. Okay. It was every 7 seconds. My camera was like freezing for like half of a second. Hey, you know what? Poggers. Now we have the little overlay thing again.
Way, like very uplifting to see like how many people like were still willing to be my friend, were still willing to talk to me, frankly are willing to be supportive of me and to give me advice. Like it's something I actually feel really, really grateful for. And I feel
also, all the radfems get into this like huge fucking circle jerk every time there's a new radfem that they can pull into the fold, you know? Like, oh, honey, I know all of those mean transes and lefties. 1 second. These guys have not died. I don't know why it's automatically going to graves. But like, I genuinely don't know why this is, right? Maybe they just like are trying to shore up all of their support. But yeah, it seems like the weird extreme feminist shit that people do is all just like the same people, all kind of circling the wagons around each other. That's why you get like these weird radfem spaces that are just like obsessed with trans people and, you know, cis women having spaces and shit. I don't understand it, but you know.
I feel really grateful for the other content creators who have really helped me.
Oh, and the second part of that is, in the same way that I think that a lot of SOCDEMs were able to, you know, influence me to not be a leftist anymore, right? I used to be a socialist. I moved on to being, you know, like a SOCDEM pro-capitalist guy. Like a huge chunk of that was me realizing it was impossible to argue for socialist economies given the data that I was able to find, right? I was not able to make a good case for a socialist economy given what my, you know, what my perfect world would be, right? Everyone having everything that they need, you know, rent, utilities, decent job, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Not being fucking buried in debt. It didn't seem like any of the things that people that are socialist talk about, it didn't seem like any of those actually answered it. But another huge part of it, I bet you I could have been influenced by people in like socialist circles had they not immediately like dogpiled the fuck out of me when I would challenge the you know, socialistic econ things, right? And because they dogpiled me on that, right? If I gave any other take, they've already just, you know, put me into the box in their brain that says bad person. So they would fucking attack me ruthlessly about any topic that I disagreed with, like the broader left's opinion, right? Our SOCDEM party here is very pro-capitalism. It's not a debate anymore. It has not been for decades. We are pro-capitalism or not. Yeah, I know, but that's a fucking... whether SOCDEMs are socialist or capitalist here in the United States, a lot of people think that taxation is fucking socialist. So you have to understand our education system is dog shit when it comes to anything civics related or anything economics related. Anything politically related, our education system is going to fail us spectacularly. Even though you can get the basics in a high school civics class and, you know, econ class, they're not that just does not carry over to basically anything in real life. So all of our political takes do not come from education. All of our political takes come from the pundits that we watch on YouTube and on TV. That's the American experiment in a nutshell politically. But anyways, like I could have been like, I could have still been a socialist if there were socialists who were like, hey, listen, I understand what you're saying on this econ stuff, right? I understand what you're saying on, you know, this trans stuff. You like, I agree. Like there are some like questions that still need to be answered, and these people are being a little unhinged. But like, I think that like your you know, your quest for knowledge or whatever. I don't know exactly how they could have done it, but like if they had been like nicer or more like good faith with me, it could be that I was would still be in these lefty circles, right? And being influenced in my opinions by them, right? But because I was cast out, right? And then I was accepted by all these SOCDEM communities, I probably went a lot further into the SOCDEM stuff than I would have if the like friend circles that I was a part of hadn't changed, you know? So if there were like people that weren't shitting down my throat every single fucking chance that they got, and then on the and then there were also people who were, you know, like in good faith having discussions with me that weren't getting like overly heated, or even if they got heated, they were still chill afterwards. It could be my political trajectory could be like massively different. Chat also helped you. Well, yeah, y'all are also like, I'm also referencing the SOCDEMs in chat. Dude, this Chud talk is crazy. Oh, I guess we've barely gotten into it.
Supportive of me to talk to me. Like Wick, for instance, he's been extremely supportive of me from the very, very beginning. I don't know. I owe a huge debt to Wick and to his community and to all of the support that he's given me. Like really, like, and I could mention a lot of other names, but like really, like, I don't know. I'm sort of gushing, but like that's something I think.
No, that's okay. Are you familiar with have you heard the term hashtag Toothgate before?
No, I don't know what that. Wait, are you talking about when he was on Patreon and he asked for, I think, his teeth? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, look, you know, I'm not trying to cause any drama here. I just know that Wick was asking for GoFundMe money for to fix his teeth, and then apparently he didn't get it fixed because of some medical issue. I don't know if you're familiar with that particular aspect.
Listen, I'm not going to dig into that.
You don't want to get involved? Okay, no, that's fine. I appreciate, you know, you probably don't want to burn through the Wick bridge just yet, right?
Not over a tooth thing. No, I think that's his business. I'm not.
Well, some are calling it charity fraud, but you know, whatever. I understand. I get it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that the reality is that you're massively overthinking it as well. I think.
You think so?
Yeah, I think my biggest advice to like newer creators is just do something, go live, talk about something, you know, get yourself out there. You know, build up your Twitter profile and promote yourself there. People have got this habit of coming in and thinking they need to revolutionize everything. But if you've got something to say that's interesting and engaging, people will watch you if you put yourself out there and promote yourself well. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to come up with all these new concepts. I mean, if you want to do your cis-only space, I don't have a problem with that on an ethical level. But, you know, I just wonder if, like, do you have means with which you can engage with trans people beyond that you're comfortable with?
Yeah, no, and I've even stated this before, like so the way that I have my server, I'm trying to get it set up anyway. Like the pink drink is supposed to be set up so that like if you don't check, like so that some people will have access to the only the library and like the stream guest like voice chats, but the rest of the community, the cis women will only have access to the community stuff, so the community general chat and the community VCs. Now, what I have had some advice about from other people, and this is another thought I wanted to pass by you. So Zonia and Stardust both had the advice of creating 2 different servers. So one server would be the cis women only server, would be the cis women only space, but the second server would be the real community server. So where people would come in and they would stream that way. And I did actually create a second server. There's nothing really on it, to be honest with you, except for a picture I took at an art museum.
How many people are in your Discord server?
Like barely any. Like there's like 32, and really like it's. Let me see actually how many. Let's see. It's 14 online. Somebody who's a better person at math can figure this out. So 14 online, and we have 20 offline. So yeah. So we have, and I say 32 because the other 2 are bots.
I love. Someone who's better at math can figure this out, but we have 14 offline and 20, or 14 online and 20 offline. Bro, the cis women are not going to beat the allegations if they can't even do fucking simple addition, bro. Holy shit.
So 32 people. It's very, very small.
and you're thinking about segregating a 32 community Discord. It's just completely insane to me. I just don't understand why you're overthinking it to this degree. I mean, look, if you want to do your little cis-only space, that's cool. I don't really care that much. I just think you're creating drama, which is good, but you're kind of siphoning off people in a way that isn't probably conducive to building a community longer term, personally.
Well, that's what Zonia and Stardust also stated. So I'm considering so then you would be in agreement that I should create a second like community server for anybody to just hop in. Is that like?
I mean, I personally would say have your main Discord now with as many people as you've got, 32, as your main Discord, and then do a spin-off server that is cis women only, because otherwise you're potentially. I mean, it's. We're talking about fucking. I feel like we're talking about scraps of food. How are we going to distribute scraps of food between us? You know, like we're fucking. You know, it just seems so silly. Like the drama was good, okay. Capitalize on the drama. Yeah, I'm all about the cis women only spaces, right? But like all this fucking rigmarole of do I do this, do I do that? It's all a waste of time. Like I don't know. I do whatever you think you want to do, but fundamentally you need to have a central point with which to build up a community of people that want to actually watch your fucking content. And cutting people off, whilst you might ethically think that's the right thing to do, it's probably bad from a pragmatic perspective, and you should probably think about those implications as you decide what to do.
Okay.
How will you verify whether someone is trans or not? That's a good question in chat.
Honestly, like I have, it's pretty much like an honor system, to be honest with you. Like when I like made the announcement that I mean, in part because the way that I did it before was like I was just honestly all the people that are in there with a few exceptions. Like I've just spoken to them. Like we just kind of had voice chats. Like I've interfaced with them face to face, and after I've met them, then like I like send them an invite. Is typically the way it has happened. But I have invited people before into the server who were trans, mostly on accident. Actually, that's not true. So I originally invited food shops into the server, but back in August, this was before I had made my decision. But then I discovered some disturbing things about food shops back in August, and so I banned food shops from the server and then sent food shops an explanation for why she was banned from my server. And it is not related to the trans stuff that happened recently. It is more related to the other stuff that I'm sure you're aware of, like regarding food shops. So there was that.
Okay, listen, can I be honest with you? I would ban someone because it's funny. I don't understand this mentality of like, you're acting like customer service rep. Like, you should cut that out straight away because that is not fucking scalable at all.
True.
You're going to be a busy fool, desperately trying to manage people as they're banned from the server. You just need to fucking...
You don't owe anyone an explanation, and you probably just shouldn't give an explanation unless you're just going to Giga Chat it and do the like actually correct thing, like I said to Black Mask, all right, / Panda, where it's like, I'm banning you partly because I just don't like you, all right? I'm banning you partly because you say insane fucking TOS shit in my chat. I'm banning you because it's really funny to watch you come in here and make another fucking account, your fucking 45th fucking account, into my stream, get you to admit that it's you, and then ban you again. It's really fucking funny. I want to ban you. Not because I'm against freedom of speech, but because I'm against your freedom of speech. Fuck you. Get out of my chat. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Just fucking ban them. If you don't want certain kinds of people in your chat, fuck them. Just get them fucking, just make the space the way you want to make it. We didn't offer food shops any kind of explanation for why she was banned from my server. I don't think that food shops is an actual pedophile, probably. Right? She seems like she's just one of those people that seems to be really good at putting her foot in her mouth like over and over and over again. She might be. Who fucking knows? Right? Oh, cool. I found a nugget. That was an accident. I was just joking around. Look at that. That's a fucking solid 1,000 Poké dollars. What was I saying? Oh yeah, but like it's just like way it's way stupider for you to try and like sit there and justify every fucking decision that you want without just like saying, yeah, I fucking feel like it. That's what I want to do on my space. It is my Discord server. If you look at the ownership of the Discord server in Discord, it says Sondsol. So therefore, my server, my rules, fuck you. Oh, what's that? I'm not enforcing the rules in the way that you want me to? Oh, I'm sorry. Who has the Discord server owner tag? It says Sondsol right next to that. Fuck you. In my server. Fuck off. Like it's so much easier, right? And you don't even have to you don't have to give an explanation, because oftentimes if you do try to like weasel out, if you're being inconsistent, right? If you start to weasel and give like your opinion on everything, you're probably, hey guys, you're probably just going to make yourself look worse. Just the way that it is. Sondsol doesn't think someone who jerks off to animated CP is a pedophile. I don't think that they're an offending pedophile. How about that? Or I probably don't think that they're a danger to society. But if they get arrested, then, you know, whatever. I'm not interacting with her anymore. I want to go into education eventually, and I'm not going to have on my YouTube channel a bunch of like, you know, me on a panel with someone who has allegations of being an actual pedophile. So they're not a child molester if you want to. Okay, yeah, that's what I mean when I say that. They're not a literal child molester. They might have pedophilic predilections. I think I'm using that word right. Okay. How far until I get to fucking fight against Flannery? I don't think we're going to get to Flannery today, guys.
Can be a lot more. This is the right decision. They're banned. Boom, move on. Right? I don't know why you would just send a fucking expedition to someone for banning them.
Well, because I think that it can. Well, I'll just be honest with you. Like, one of the things, if there is anything that's been hard about this, it has been that, like, I have made a lot of friends within these communities. Like, I've talked to a lot of people, and like and I don't just mean like online, like on stream, arguing and yelling about shit. Like, I've talked to people, like we've shared like personal stuff together. Like, we're really, like, I'm really good friends with some of these people, right? So when you leave a community or when you're banned or kicked out of a community, it can be really emotionally painful for a lot of people, especially if you do hang out in these spaces a lot, which I do. And so I know how that feels and how it feels.
It's a fucking Discord server. Like, get over it. I don't know. Why do people work so crazy about Discord server?
I know, but I don't know. Like, I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I really hate actually hurting people's feelings for the most part.
Well, you need to get over that straight away because, you know, you just your action of banning trans people from your fucking Discord is hurting people's feelings, right?
I know. And actually, you do have a point there. One of the things I wanted to establish before I started streaming and producing content, I wanted to do it in a way that was consistent with my values. And I wanted to be honest about what I really thought, which is why, even though I knew it would hurt some people's feelings, I decided to make the announcement that I did. And just to be very, very clear, like Electrical Cat, one of the users she left the server. I did not kick her or ban her from the server. I simply stated what I said. And Sophie, the other person who was kicked from the server, I told her she could come back. She could get access to the library. She could come on stream anytime. And we also talked privately afterwards. And we're still really, really good friends. And I'm still supportive of her, and she's still supportive of me. So
Has anyone stabbed you in the back yet?
Yes, I have actually had a few people. I don't really want to. So
you don't want to talk about it. You have to if you don't want to. I'm just interested to see if you've had experience.
The vast majority of people have been very friendly. Like, really, like, nobody should feel sorry for me. Like, really, this has been in many ways, like, this has been very beneficial for me because I've had a lot of friends who have supported me. A lot of people have stepped up and been very, very kind. And on top of that, it is drama to capitalize on, right? So now people know that my server exists. They know that my channel exists. I am a 200 sub person on YouTube. Like, it's nothing, right? So this is a benefit for me in a lot of ways because this has happened. But I am actually really surprised. There are some people who I was very, very close friends with, people who have told me how much they care about me and how friendly they are to me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then they went on to stream and they shit talked me on the stream. And then I tried talking to them privately. And then I don't quite understand this, okay? So then I asked the person if they would come and speak to me privately off stream about what happened so that we could repair our friendship, so that we could be friends again. And they told me that they only wanted to talk to me on stream. And they told me that they were angry that I was going on to other people. They were angry about me going on to Tom's stream and onto Stardust and why I wouldn't go on to their stream after supposedly being my friend. They went on there to basically shit talk me and to criticize me, to slam me. This person didn't even message me when this whole thing broke to see if I was okay. And I don't expect that from most people, right? Like, most people are strangers, like, you don't know me, like, it's fine. But it's different, like, if you've been speaking to each other for months, literally as a friend, and then when this happens, you don't even call me to see if I'm doing okay, and then be honest with me about what criticisms. Like, I don't care if people are critical of me. Like, that's not really what my problem is. My bigger problem is that this broke, and this person did not reach out with even so much as a scrap of emotional support.
Get used to that, because no one's going to fucking care about that shit. I don't, you know, you're coming into this, you're very, like, bushy-tailed, bright-eyed, like, you were going to get chewed up and fucking spat out if you make it for fucking months, even in this space. Like,
everyone that comes into Twitch into the Twitch, like, politics sphere of things, everyone has, like, these huge ideals. I mean, fuck, I did it, right? Because I thought I was way more important, or thought that the fight was so much more important than it actually is. Where, like, you know, I started off, I come in, I want to argue with Nazis, I want to argue with alt-righters, right? Argue with Republicans because of Trump, et cetera, et cetera. Then fucking COVID happens, and then you're covering COVID, and it's really important that we fight against misinformation. And it is important that we fight against misinformation, but, like, at the scale that you're going to achieve as a Twitch politics person is just so unbelievably insignificant unless you get really big. And you're only really going to get really big if you're really only going to get really big if you get a lucky break debating someone that's, like, really big and you do really exceptionally well, and then you're able to capitalize off of that, or if you get into some major fucking drama, which this girl is getting herself into, and she's able to capitalize on that, but then her content is like, so we're going to talk about the feminist theory, and everyone's going to, like, go away because all that they're there for is the drama. All that they're there for is the fucking fighting. All they're there for is, like, the blood sportsy type shit, right? What we're doing here is mostly just, like, for fun type shit, like laughing at people that have shit opinions, right? Shitting on them. There's very few people that you're going to reason with in these spaces, right? I feel like early on, like one of my first conversations with a conservative that was just like very chill was with Killer Sieg, right? Burgeoning friendship immediately after that, right? Because we were able to have like a really reasonable conversation about trans stuff, about conservative and liberal stuff, right? And it's just like it was just like a really nice conversation where we both came in with good faith. You know what? That was not a high viewership day, right? Contrast that with days where I was debating like Rob Noor and I was getting really fucking heated. Bro, triple, quadruple, pentuple viewership compared to like a really nice interpersonal conversation where we're just chilling. It's just, yeah. It's just all entertainment and bullshit. No one's going to change the world. True. If you care that much, you should consider your actions. True. And I am the reason why Biden won. All right. But that's because I voted at least 8 times. All right.
Okay, like what is this fucking? I just don't understand. Like you think you're gonna come in, it's all gonna be
can't wait for it.
This is fucking dog eat dog shit out here. I don't know. Like you can't change the nature of what this space is. It is what it is, and you're gonna get fucked up.
Well, I actually disagree with that. So one thing that I've really loved about going, okay, well.
No, tell me. Listen, if you disagree, I'm not the expert on everything. I'm interested to say what do you think?
Look, I'm not the expert on anything either. Like, and I do appreciate your experience. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts with me. But really, one of the things I thought that I really liked is I thought that I would go into panels and I would argue with people, and that person would call me a shithead, and I would call them a shithead, and we would yell at each other, and it would be this big bad thing. But then afterwards, once the stream went off, and we would go back into VCs, we would talk to each other, we would hang out, we would crack jokes, we would play video games together, right? Like there was this sort of thing where like you would fight with each other, but then things would be okay afterwards, which is a part of this that I have really, really liked and I really enjoy. I think that's a really good thing about being friends with people. And I don't know. I think that there are people who are able to have that level of separation. Sorry, my mom is calling me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna hang the phone up. So anyway, so there's that. There are some people who honestly are angry at me for even indulging in the drama at all, right? For even choosing to go onto Tom's stream, for not just dropping it and ignoring it and then moving on to like my content next week. But the reason why I'm so sorry. The reason why I've decided to indulge in the drama is for number one, I've talked to some other people and they have suggested that I capitalize on it so that I can get more viewers, that people know who I am.
Yeah.
It is a good thing. If bad things are going to happen, I might as well benefit from it. But the second thing is, the second reason why is that for Tom's panel specifically, a lot of people are trashing not just me, but they're trashing my friends, the people who are in my Discord server, the people who have chosen to be in community with me. And when I heard Tom calling everybody else in my server a TERF, calling people who I really care about TERFs, that was not something I was going to just sit back and let happen. Like I could not let that happen. I was especially angry that Tom allowed. And I know that like some people have stated before that Mantis apparently has a history of being controversial, but Mantis did not start anything when she came onto that panel on stream. When she came onto that panel on stream, Samantha right out the gate called her all. I'm sorry, like just TOS. Like, am I able to say slur words on here? I don't know. Like,
it's the T slur, right? Like we'll just say the T slur or whatever. Okay.
It's just the T slur. That's the only thing. Like everything else is, and obviously not the N word or anything. I'm not talking misogynistic
like
slurs with women.
retard and bitch and misogynistic slurs or non-targeted ableist slurs are generally fine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, she called her a whore. She called her a cunt. She called her sugar tits. She called her honey bun.
She said, "Are we allowed to say slurs? Are we allowed to say slurs?" And then she comes out with whore and sugar tits. Come the fuck on, dude. You made it sound like it was gonna be so fucking bad, and then you said sugar tits. Like, is it mean? Is it degrading? Yeah. But like when we say slurs, we're thinking of something a little bit stronger than fucking sugar tits.
Fun. She called her sweetie. Like she said so many horrible things. She said the grippier the socks, the grippier the pussy. She said so many horrible things over and over and
the grippier the socks, the grippier the pussy. That's fucking amazing. I gotta use that one next time I'm talking to an insane woman. Next time I'm talking to fucking, I don't know, fucking. Actually, no, I don't want to fucking name anyone's name. That will look bad. The grippier the socks, the grippier the pussy. Fucking 10 out of 10. Like actually.
Over again, and nobody told her to shut up the entire time.
Sugar tits.
So that made me very angry.
Okay, here's the problem that you've got though, right? Yeah, that's some shitty things to say, but that's what most people want to see. They want to see the kind of blood sports-esque interactions. And this is what I'm saying about you're so concerned with the fucking morals and ethics of the communication. But people don't want that. They don't want to be fucking, oh no, that's a naughty word, don't say that. So like, you're kind of going against what people want. Do you see what I mean?
think that, this may be just a difference, but I do believe this. I do think that in the long run, having a moral and ethical system and trying your best to be kind and to be generous and helpful to people, I think that is important. And I actually would present to you Wick as an example of somebody. Like, there's a reason why I wanted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wick is definitely a good example. Yeah. I tell you what, you're basically on fucking Omaha Beach. Okay, you're standing up above a parapet and a fucking German machine gun bullet is fucking plowing through your skull right now. That's what it feels like listening to you talk in this way, right? Listen, I don't want to shit talk Wick too much. I'm sure my community can adequately handle that. But like, you know, Wick is someone who is not like blowing the fucking waves out there. He's got like a fucking panel with 100 viewers. I'm not trying to down talk him or act like I'm better than him, but like, is he really that good an example of like someone who is flourishing off the back of being nice?
Seen a lot of people that like who will then watch his panels because of what's happened on them, and then they will react to them and they'll talk about them. Like, he is relevant. A lot of people do tune into him, and he has a reputation for being kind, for being generous, and that's the reason why he has the community that he does. It's the reason like why I made so many friends with people there. It's because of who he is. And I think that's like, and I don't disagree that like you do have to do spicier things in order to get people to come onto your show, but I also think that it's important to try your best to be, I don't know, as good of a person as you can be. And I understand that like that comes across as insufferable, and a lot of people like hate that. I'm not trying to be insufferable. I don't know everything. You know, I fuck up a lot. Like, that's not really. I hope that that's not the impression I'm giving.
I don't. You know, like, you're not like, you know. I feel. You know.
Okay, what are we looking for here? We're on Emerald. I would be happy. I think I would rather have the low tad. I think the low tad has got to be the good pull here. Unless I, oh man, but one second, I need to do some gym leader. Hohen. Da 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 da. Hohen League. So we have fire, normal, flying, psychic, and water. I think we're doing okay on water right now because we have Breloom. Don't want to lose him. Rock would probably be really good for the flying gym. I'm going to have to super repel. And try and get this Geodude. Right? That's got to be the move. That's the move.
You know, people are telling me I'm not being harsh enough, but I feel harsh saying these things to you because, you know, it's like I said, it's like you know, slapping a puppy. But like, you know, you're just delusional. You're totally delusional about what this is going to be, and you're going to get chewed up and spat out, and I'm going to reduce my prediction to 3 months.
True.
Anyway, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I hope to prove you wrong. And
wait, now you're apologizing.
Okay, that's wononderful.
No, I don't.
Oh my god!
No, I don't want to like make you feel like I'm discounting what you're saying or anything like that. I just like I don't want you to feel like disrespected. You were nice enough to bring me on your stream, right? Like, that was generous of you.
Listen, this is the problem. You know, whether you want to disrespect me or not, it's fine. It's just that you've got a very idealized view of everything, and I just think the cold hard reality, like particularly, you know, I feel like when I was smaller in the Twitch Bowl space, there was still some fertile land to operate on, so I was able to build something out of it. Obviously, there's lots of things that have happened that push me forward, but the initial growth was off the back of the Twitch Bowl stuff. It feels like you're coming into a barren land. It snowed. There's nowhere to grow food anymore, and you're desperately clawing your fingernails into the dirt. There's frozen soil, and you're trying to plant something, and it's like, you know, you're not hardy enough to fucking survive the winter. That's what it feels like, and it just feels harsh because I'm like, Jesus, like you got such this bright-eyed idea of what it's going to be like, and it's just not like that. And
even if
you know,
it's not.
I hope you. Sorry, go on, please, go on.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Even if it's not successful, I think it's noble to do for the attempt to do it anyway. And I also will say this. I think that the type of content that I want to produce, I have not heard anybody doing it in the way that I'm doing. I haven't heard anybody I've never heard of anybody having a feminist theory, like trying to make it popular, trying to make it entertaining. I've never heard of anybody trying to do that before.
Really?
That's a new thing that nobody else, as far as I know, is doing. Nobody else, as far as I know, has a cis women only Discord server or has stated that they want to create that community. Nobody else, as far as I know, has done that in this space, or even frankly anywhere in Discord that I can find. And nobody else is willing to take these positions and to talk about this stuff. You're right that Twitch poll, probably most people aren't going to give a shit. But I think there are lots of women who do care about these topics, who are interested in this topic.
They all think that they're so much more important than they actually are. I'm sorry to any like radfims. Oh, why did I use Rock Smash now? I need to get rid of Repel. There we go. Come on, give me the Geodude. Feminist theories about menopause, sure, it's going to be a hit. Feminist theories about how little boys aren't as affected by childhood sexual assault as little girls. Feminist theory, fucking love it. Why is there even stairs here? Yeah, it's just a massive copium. Protein, cool. Cat, chill out. You're okay, Kurt? Stop yelling. Yeah, huge demand on the issue. People will love it. Yeah, exactly. Like, I know. Here's my thing. I know that there is not like much appetite for the stuff that I talk about on stream, right? I know that my style of content is oversaturated. You know what? I'm fine with that. I do this as a hobby. It used to be my, only form of income. It used to be my full-time job. It's not my full-time job anymore. So now I do what I want on my fucking stream. I ban who I want. I talk to people who I want and don't talk to people I don't want. It's just that easy. I'm not living or dying by this, although like money is nice, right? So if you guys want to slap that fucking subscribe button over there on Kick, join as a member on YouTube. Now is a great time to do that. We have to pay our editor again at the end of this month, and it would be really great if I would be able to spend my work money on presents for my family and my rent and my car payment, and then my YouTube money all goes to the editor. So if you guys want to join as a member, now's a great time to do that. But fuck, what was I saying? Oh yeah, you have to like read the audience. You have to like know what people are actually looking for. And if you're not willing to like change your content and like do some of the things that you want, or find a way in which your the love that you have for one topic can be, put into a format or a content style that is better for getting any kind of, what do you call it? Any kind of viewership, right? And holding people's attention, right? If you're not able to do that, then that's fine. Like, honestly, it is fine. You don't have to, kill this stupid Meryl. You don't have to make a living as a YouTuber, right? But if you actually want to make a living as a YouTuber, it is a job, and you have to do some things that you don't want to do, or you have to find a way to make it work for you. And if you can't do that, then that's your own fault. You're not going to be able to get any sympathy from fucking literally anyone if you can't make it as a YouTuber, when the content that you put out is so unbelievably hyper niche and unentertaining and arguably fucking hateful. Like, no one's going to want to talk to you. No one's going to want to watch you. Read the room, so to say.
Kind of stuff, who would like to watch it and who would like to come onto these panels and who would like to share their experiences. And so I know that, I'm not a puppy and I'm not a child and I don't mind just slapping me around, but here's the deal. I think that it can work. And I do believe that if I try to do my best and if I try to be kind and try to do the best that I can, I think that people will respond to it. Now, I may never be like a huge giant streamer or a huge giant person that everybody watches, but at least I can be the touchstone that other people can come to when they need to. And at least it can be that, even if it's not a huge thing.
Well, I mean, in seriousness, as much as I've been quite direct in what I think, I hope you prove me wrong. I'm always keen to see people, flourishing and making content, making something out of it. It's a hard path to tread, but if you can do it, then that's great. Okay. Is there anything else? Is there any problems with anything I've ever said, or any, misogyny that I do that you want to talk about whilst you're here?
No, no. I'm mostly asked to come on because I saw that you were covering the Food Shops video of me, and like you were watching a few of the clips, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to capitalize on it, to promote my platforms, to promote my streams, promote.
Why is it that like people who like unironically want to take someone down, make like, and they're like a tiny ass little nobody creator, people make entire videos on them saying we need to talk about this person? If you actually unironically super hated these people, then you wouldn't talk about them on your stream. You would give them no clout, no attention whatsoever. Why am I not getting a fucking Geodude out of this? There we go. Holy shit. I can't attack him with any of my Pokemon, or he will just faint. So I'm just going to have to spam him with great balls. There we go. Someone named Geodude for me. I know it's a long time ago. The best way to make a difference for me personally is being involved at local politics. This internet shit is just pure entertainment, not serious. Yeah, I think so too. I think that you can make it into something serious, right? Like, I know, like, Ryska, you're in Spicy Chat. Like, people there, like, shit on Destiny for doing the, and shit on Brianna Wu for doing the, Why? What? Come here. Hurt, come here. My cat's just, I don't know if you guys can hear him. He's just on the other side of my little like sound blocker that I have set up right here. And he's just screaming at me. He's been fed. He's been loved on. He has water. I don't know why he keeps on fucking screaming at me. But yeah, people in Spicy Chat, they love to shit on Destiny and Brianna Wu and all these other people for doing the canvassing houses and shit. Stein is a German word for rock. I actually kind of like that. We might do that. Give me more suggestions in chat though while I say this stuff. They want to shit on them for doing the canvassing stuff and the canvassing houses and, you know, taking the internet stuff and making it in real life and et cetera, et cetera. But like, yeah, I think that the internet stuff is just entertainment, but if you can take that entertainment and then channel it into something that's good and useful and helpful to the real world, then that's probably a good thing. I don't understand why everyone gets super fucking ass mad about it unless they just want everyone to always be online fucking perpetually fucking, you know, perma-virgin, autistic fucking arguing over whether women should be in gaming or not. Like, I don't know what when it comes to like political stuff, I don't know what Spicy Chat wants. They want people to care about real shit, but they want to talk about having people do real politics. But then when someone does real politics, they get super fucking, you know, a-loggy about it. So I don't know what they want. And to be honest, at this point, I'm too scared to ask. Unless I become the next target of the evil Spicy Chat brigades of 10 people coming in and calling me soy, you know? But yeah, like it can be, the internet stuff can be channeled into a real world stuff, but the when it's on the internet, it's all just performative, fucking funny entertainment stuff, you know?
All what I'm doing on your platform and to answer any questions if anybody had them.
Okay, so let's start to wrap this up. And this could actually also maybe be a look at this too. How do I find your channel on YouTube? What do I need to type in?
So type in at Fairy Queen's Cottage. So here, I'll actually, may I drop it in the chat? Is that okay?
Please, by all means. I'll post it everywhere.
Yeah, no, here, I'll post it here in the chat. I'm so sorry. You may actually hear my audio coming in. You know, one of the most annoying things about like getting a setup is finding a freaking pair of headphones. I went the other day to find some, and apparently the wired kind are fine, but I can't hear out of one of these ears. It's the most annoying thing. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's not.
No, it's fine. Listen, I think one problem I can see straight away is your channel is Fairy Queen.
Okay.
That's. I mean, if I just look up Fairy Queen, that's going to be very unoptimized for any sort of search engine, and even on YouTube, it's going to be tricky to find your channel. So it's all very well posting the link and saying at Fairy Queen's Cottage, but if people hear about you, they're probably just going to look for Fairy Queen, not be able to find you, and then go, oh, not bother. So it's like you need to try and think of a way to be more unique so that people can actually find you when they look for you.
Okay, so I need to change my name. That's a good piece of advice.
I mean, in fact, the guy you mentioned earlier, Wick, is probably a good example of this because he used to be called Death of Certainty, but also called himself Wick. And he was advised, I believe maybe even from people in my community, to rebrand to Wick. He rebranded to Wick TV, and all of a sudden, yeah, people were able to find him more easily because that's a bit more unique, right?
Okay, all right. That's actually a really good piece of advice. If there are no questions for me, Chud, I just posted it in your chat here, and I'll actually post it in the side chat here.
I'm posting it in all the chats, so, you know, listen, hopefully people will go and check you out.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, if there are no other questions, are there any questions that you have for me? Is there anything I can clear up?
I'll tell you what we'll do. This is normally quite fun. Does anyone in chat have any questions that they'd like to ask that aren't completely insane? Behave yourselves, chat. Don't be too crazy. Ask her about the male horniness panel. What's that about?
God, oh, that was terrible.
Hulkenstein.
Okay, so this was way back in July. Way back in July. No, was it in July? It was. Yes, it was July. It was towards the end of July. So Tuna Chip was hosting a female horny. Well, no, it was not titled. It was titled a women's sexuality panel. Was originally what it was titled and called. And a good friend of mine named Millie asked me if I wanted to join the panel and said that Max Carson, Mr. Girl, was going to be on the panel, right? And I'd heard about Mr. Girl. I've seen a lot I saw what had happened, the blow up with Lav. And so I wanted to go there to have Millie's back, right? Because I really hate Max Carson. I hate him. I hate Mr. Girl, right? And I wanted to be there specifically in support of Millie when I went there, right? So then I got on the stream. We go on to the stream, and they both titled it, first of
Man, women have so much more solidarity with each other than men do. Like, genuinely, dude. Like, if I heard that someone that was like my friend in streaming was going on to a panel with someone that was like going to be like kind of a piece of shit to them, maybe, like, I'd be like, man, good luck. I'd be like, man, that sucks, dude. I don't want to go. I don't want to talk to like possible or almost certainly a pedophile Max Carson on a panel where we're going to talk about sex. Yeah, just no shot. But women have solidarity, dude. They're going to be, yo, you're going to be on a panel with Max Carson? Girl, I got your back. I'll be right there with you. I'll join the panel. I'll defend you.
First of all, the female horniness panel. The female horniness panel. Max has a huge, weird, really sexist and creepy speech that he gives at the very beginning, again, of the women's sexuality panel that we were invited to. And so he goes on like this, and then eventually Ice Beans, another wonderful content creator, shout out to her, she's on Twitch, find her, her name is Ice Beans. While we were there, Ice Beans was telling a story, I think about like some woman talking about menstruation in the office, and Max responded to this by asking a bunch of really weird questions, right? But he wanted a play-by-play of exactly what she said, and the sort of implication of that was that he wanted a really gross story about menstruation to be explicitly talked about. So I just immediately shit on him immediately. I immediately fired back at him. I'd actually prepped in advance. I had a bowl of oranges, and so I would ask him questions, and I would shit on him, and then I would eat the orange slowly in front of him because that's what he did, like when he was talking to Shaylin, like during his weird stream with her. And basically that's what I did. And so then that ended. So then after that stream ended.
Does the story ever end? Because it's really fucking long, isn't it? Have you ever thought about being more succinct?
Okay, I know that's a problem I have. Okay, so that ended. I had a women's sexualdy panel, invited Not So Erudite to it. It was great. It was fun. We loved it. It was restorative. And that's part of the reason why I want to do women's only content.
Okay. Wait, there was more questions, but I've forgotten them now.
God, I
so
wish
yeah,
I had some
one thing to
fucking
note is that
fly
people,
or some shit
that's
like that
Max's
already. Fuck
name
me.
up in as many, well, on the stream. Yeah, he's a bit of a dead weight, really. He's kind of gone, but maybe this was a little while ago. So Alpha says, have you considered doing video essay content for the more dense theory stuff?
I have. Here's the problem with that, though. First of all, it takes so fucking long to do, right? Like I've tried making video essays before, and it is so long. It takes so long to do it. If I were like, I need to be able to do content where I can have the prep work, I can have the research available, right? But I can just do it live on stream so that I can consistently, so that it's easier for me to do. So that's my answer.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, one thing with that, have you thought about doing any sort of like just basic React type content to anti-feminist material?
I actually have. I think that would be fun to do. I have thought about like doing like anti-red pill stuff before, but the problem is the red pill is also dying, right? Like there's like, you're pretty much just picking at the bones of what the red pill community was. So I'm not really sure if there's a lot of things to react to from there. Like, what is it? Fresh and Fit is dead. Andrew Tate has been indicted, right?
Okay,
like,
what was it? I mean, I don't know the answer to this. I don't really follow it that much. Like, what was Sneeko's viewership on his last stream? What was Fresh and Fit's viewership on the last stream? Like, you're claiming these things are dead. I just don't think that's true. And I reckon if I went and looked, their viewership would be very fucking healthy. And Red Pill will always have a place. And there's a perception it's died, but I just don't know if that's reflected by the facts.
Is that true? I thought that Fresh and Fit lost their YouTube. Isn't that true? I thought they were kicked off of YouTube. Am I wrong for thinking
well,
that?
Maybe in the old days that would be a thing, but now with Rumble being what it is, I think it can still sustain, even if it's inflated perhaps on Rumble, decent viewership on Rumble and Kick even. I don't know if they stream on there, but Kick's another angle. I mean, you know, I think Sneeko pulls in tens of thousands of viewers. So I just would be cautious about calling for the death of Red Pill content. If you want to push feminist theory, Red Pill could probably be a good angle to do that, I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, guys, the questions are just a bit too misogynistic for my taste. So unless there's anything serious. Oh, here's a question. Do you take any issue with being labeled as a TERF?
The thing, like, I don't know what it is that, and this is a problem I think we have in general with most of the languages. I don't know what that means. What is it that the person means when they say that? Because Tom, like when I went on to
what does it even mean to be a TERF these days? What does it even mean to be, what does it even mean to be a racist? What does it mean to be a misogynist? These are all just labels that we put on people. Am I a TERF? Nah, I don't think I'm a TERF. But you know what? If they're going to call me a TERF for standing up for women's rights, then I'll hold on to that label with pride. I guarantee you, it's going to be some stupid fucking statement like that. Can we put money on it? Can we put money on it right now?
his stream, he said that all that means is that you are a feminist that is not trans inclusive. That's all that TERF means. But I also know other people that when they say the word TERF, they mean somebody who says really transphobic slurs, who says that all trans people are groomers, who says that a trans woman is just a man in a dress, right? Who says like a lot of really stuff like that, right? And I don't think that I belong in that camp of people. I don't believe in dehumanizing people because they're trans. I think that it's a serious condition. I think that some people, small minority of people, may need to transition. I don't know if that's reflective of the entire population, but I don't think that I belong in this camp of people. But if it's simply that I don't believe that trans women are women, I've already capped to that as much. So
Sure, I think that people do have different meanings for it, and it can be.
She literally did it. She did it. You know what? I don't think that I'm a TERF, but you know what? If people are going to call me a TERF because I don't think trans women are women, then yeah, I am a TERF. Literally, exactly what I said. One more time.
really stuff like that, right? He said that all that means is that you are a feminist that is not trans inclusive. That's all that TERF means. But I also know other people that when they say the word TERF, they mean somebody who says really transphobic slurs, who says that all trans people are groomers, who says that a trans woman is just a man in a dress, right? He says like a lot of really stuff like that, right? And I don't think that I belong in that camp of people. I don't believe in dehumanizing people because they're trans. I think that it's a serious condition. I think that some people, small minority of people, may need to transition. I don't know if that's reflective of the entire population, but I don't think that I belong in this camp of people. But if it's simply that I don't believe that trans women are women, I've already capped to that as much. So.
Sure, I think that people do have different meanings for it, and it can be used as a sort of more insulting way. There is a more academic definition, I think, that people look at. So yeah, I don't know. So you're saying that you don't associate with the idea of being harsh to people, but your feminism is rooted in the idea that trans women are not included in your feminism analysis that you're doing.
Wait,
I suppose yes, but to be very, very clear, right? It's not meant to dehumanize trans people or to say anything cruel about trans people. It's simply to say that I think that there are many issues that are specific to cis women that we should focus on. And that's what I want to focus my content on. And when I'm talking about women's issues, I really am referring to women's issues that refer to cis women. That's what I mean when I say that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that is a kind of a softer perspective. Obviously, some people will still despise you as being transphobic or whatever, but you know that certainly differentiates from people that kind of maybe have that perspective, but think being cruel to trans people is the way to go about it, right? So you're saying don't dehumanize them, don't be mean to them, but fundamentally you do not see trans women as a woman in the same way a cis woman is. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Do you see why? Although I'm not saying this is my personal view, this is more of a devil's advocate. Do you see why some people might take issue with that and see that as antagonistic?
I do understand, and I do understand why people have that perspective. But I will be honest with you, the reason why I stated it was because when I founded my server, it was originally a women's only server. And everybody kept asking me, what is a woman? Like they kept asking me to be Matt Walsh over and over and over and over again. So that's the reason why that line is included within the announcement. That's why I said what I said. It was to respond to other people's questions, like when they'd asked me that. So.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's I mean, like I say, I'm not really looking to. I think the whole gender debate is a bit boring, and I think that the progressives have gone too far with some of the trans stuff. But generally speaking, I mean, I'm a man, so maybe my opinion is irrelevant on what should be in and out of women's space. But I guess the question I would ask though is, so you're including women, cis women, you don't think that trans women are women? Would you allow a trans man to join your server?
No.
Right. Okay.
No, because they don't have the same experience. The point of the server, it's supposed to be a server that is for cis women. It wouldn't make sense to include people who say that they're non-binary or people who are trans men. It's supposed to be for a group of people that have a shared experience. And while I've stated what I stated before, right, as I stated before, I don't want to be insulting. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, right? And trans men do have a different experience than cis women. They do not live and walk through the world in the same way as a cis woman does, even though fundamentally, like, we have the same biology. And so, no, I would not allow a trans man.
So let's say there was a woman. I mean, what do you base this on? Do you base this on any medical procedure, or is it an identification thing? Just to give you a quick example of what I'm talking about. Let's say there's a woman. She says one day, actually, I'm a trans man. It's literally the day of, has made no transition or anything. Does that mean that they are not allowed to come into your server?
If they've made that decision, then the day of, and if they have made the decision to transition then into a man, then I would ask them to leave the server. Yes, I would.
So you think self-ID is an acceptable means by which to determine whether someone is trans or not?
No, I don't. And to be honest with you, as I stated before, I don't really want to talk about trans issues this much. I think that I just want there to be a hub for the very paltry amount of cis women that are already in this space to be able to congregate and to come together. Obviously, like some of this I'm going to have to think through more, but no, like it's a cis women only space. That is what the space is there for. And also, like, just as a side note, a lot of people seem to think that we're talking men in there and that we're shit talking trans women in there. I mean, you can speak to other women who are in my server and they can look.
Wait, so trans men are men to her, but trans women aren't women? Yeah, because women is an exclusive club that they are allowed to be in and no one else is allowed to be in and all of that shit. That's just it, dude. Like, there doesn't have to be any consistency with these people. They're just going to be like, if you don't have a uterus, you're not a woman. And if you decide to, although a lot of TERFs will say that like trans men are just confused lesbians and that they're actually victims, so they'll accept a lot of trans men because at least they have a uterus. But yeah. All right, let's get some free experience here. Damn. I guess I'm going for spicy chat.
Look at the scrape of it, okay? That doesn't happen in the server. Like, we talk about things like going to the gynecologist. I talked about going to the gynecologist, for instance, like in the server. That was the thing that we talked about. There was another post where a woman was complaining about a fight she had with her husband and her sister regarding doing the dishes. Like, this is the sort of thing that we talk about in the server, right? Christmas cookies, sweaters, you know, sharing games, favorite books, Taylor Swift songs. It's that kind of thing. It's not anything that's, we don't sit around and shit talk people in there typically. That's not what the purpose of the server is. It's not there to be a man-hating space, and it's not there to be a trans-hating space. That's not what it's there for. Just to be very, very clear.
And if someone, and I'm not trying to catch her out with this, but like if someone was to set up a man-only space or a white-only space, like how would you feel about that?
I mean, I would say that it's their right to do that. I think that, like, and
God,
this
that
is
was
something
close.
else I've stated before. Some people have stated, well, is it okay to have white, like, imagine if there was a white-only space. Is that okay? I mean, my answer to you is that white people aren't a protected class of people, right? And I think that's fundamentally...
That's not true, actually.
think
Protection, no. Protection is based on racial identity. So a white person is protected under protected class provisions in the USA as being white, absolutely. If you can have a hate crime committed against you as a white person in America, and in fact, there's a lot of prosecutions that go through on that basis in America.
Right, but I think most of us would probably agree. Do white people exist as a marginalized group of people in the United States? I don't think that they do, right? They don't have...
Why do people have to be marginalized necessarily to want a space for themselves?
I mean, first of all, I think that you should be able to set up a... I think that you should be able to have a space set up to... If it's your house, your rules. If you want a certain number of people or a certain kind of people to come into your space in Discord, in here, that's your business, okay? It's your business to set up your Discord however it is you want, right? To allow whoever it is you want to come into your space. But secondly, that's just what I think, like, just about like what you can do, what you should be allowed to do in Discord, right? Morally, right? I think that there are reasons why we have separate spaces for marginalized groups of people, right? Like you mentioned, for instance, like Prime Kai's all black panel, right? Like, that's not there because the people are there because they want to be discriminatory and hateful to white people. It's there because the black people that go onto his panels have a shared experience that they want to talk about and want to share with other people.
Wait. Prime Kai had an all-white panel. So the implication I'm getting from you is that that panel was somehow hateful towards black people then, if that's what you're saying.
My assumption is that panel, I don't know. So I haven't seen the panel. I don't know what was said on the panel. This is my disclaimer. I would assume that he held the panel that way as for the same reason you mentioned earlier, to cause drama, to bring people onto it, to watch his stream, right? And he would, because he knew that it would make people upset when he said that this is a white only panel.
Anyway, listen, people are, I'm not meaning to turn it into a debate. I feel, I'm not trying to fucking gotcha you, I have a debate with you. I'm just interested in like how these ideas work for you. So, we don't need to drill down into detail and everything, but.
Come on.
Okay, any more questions? Any more questions for
Chud cucking content.
Very green. Who's your favorite woman and who's your favorite man?
They're both the same person and they don't exist, and it's God. So there.
Okay. Well, does God exist? That's the question. No, come on. Anyway, listen, I think that's kind of it. We can wrap it up there. Any final shilling that you want to do?
No, I guess there is one thing. So please subscribe to my channel. So this week on Thursday at 8 p.m., we are going to have the mothers and daughters relationship panel. We're going to discuss the boy mom phenomenon. We're going to discuss the struggle between mothers and daughters, generational sexism, how it's passed down from mothers to their daughters. And we're going to talk about it with a lot of women this upcoming Thursday. And we would love to have you all here. On Wednesday, I'm going to be speaking to a soldier in the IDF. We're going to talk about women in combat. We're going to talk about the experiences that cis women have in times of war. And we're going to talk about the history of rape as a means of ethnic cleansing and how it became and how the historical reason why genocidal rape became a term that is used. So we're going to talk about this week. The other streams, I'll be reading theory and I'll be talking about it, but I'd love to see you there. Thank you all very much. I appreciate you having me on, Chud. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks for coming on. All the best. Good luck with your channel.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Okay. Well, wasn't that entertaining, guys? Wasn't that just a hoot and a holler? Okay, we'll watch the old man laundry stuff before we have to end stream. We'll watch a little bit of this.
Kind of go back to some of the things I sent your way. Well, I guess it falls under the category of OSINT, primarily, so open source intelligence gathering. And I got into that skill set, or I found that skill set out of necessity. So I was involved in politics for about a decade, and from like the age of 17 to like 26. And then in 2016, when cancel culture really started to become a popular thing to do, and it was kind of at its absolute most insane peak, it came my direction. It found me, and a guy who turns out to be basically a career criminal crafted a story, used an alias online to accuse me of basically engaging in criminal activity, which I never had and haven't since, as opposed to this guy who's had a very long criminal history spanning like 4 different states and like a decade. But he crafted the story, made it go viral in my small town. Got picked up by the newspaper, and they ran like 3 straight days of, I mean, pretty classic defamatory coverage of this false story. And I had to figure out how to get my story out there and prove my case. And a lot of that ended up having to involve learning these open source intelligence gathering techniques to be able to demonstrate, you know, who the individual was who created the story, and prove that I was innocent. And that also got me to a point where I became much more cynical about media, and in very significant air quotes, modern journalism and modern journalists. I would say, as a lefty, I have a pretty I think my takes on the media and journalism in the modern age is probably much more aligned with people such as yourself.
Yeah. What, just skepticism and knowing that it's a bunch of, no offense to anybody who's a professional journalist, but it's a bunch of slightly above average intelligence people getting something that bites and then just running with it as far as they can. And, you know, maybe it gets contradicted, maybe it doesn't, but either way they have a story, so who gives a shit?
Yes, that.
I'm pretty sure he's,
you know, as
right
I
now, a Destiny
uncovered
writer,
when I was trying to understand the local newspapers' reluctance, I wouldn't even say reluctance, but their refusal to correct the story and own up to their mistakes, what I realized was that they didn't have it's the local paper of record, which is a technical but important phrase, but they didn't have a correction policy, and they don't have a code of ethics.
Is it kind of a smaller town?
Yeah, so I don't live there anymore. After, I mean, the whole thing completely destroyed my life, and I've now been diagnosed with PTSD and major depressive disorder from a direct result of all of that. But it was a town or city of 50,000-ish people. But ironically, I was named a finalist for Person of the Year in the same paper that then a few months later basically made me public enemy #1. And
they just smelled blood in the water, so to speak. So they're just like, oh yeah, fuck this guy. He's relatively popular. People know his name. Let's let's just run with it and kind of, if it bleeds, it leads, so to speak.
Yeah, and so what I found out though was that the local newspaper is owned by a NASDAQ mega corporation that owns hundreds of papers across the country. And they all are basically, if you go to these different newspapers' websites, they're basically all identical. They just swap out the logo and the local weather forecast. And all of these papers, which are the local newspapers serving hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, they too don't have.
Let's skip around, see what we can get.
The fact that they're influencing, but people are crazy. Now, I do wonder though about, I mean, any.
Like, all the guns that I've ever wanted and a state-of-the-art security system. I have some of that, but the truth is that I am a normal Joe. I am not making an incredible amount of money. So I don't have the insulation. I think for public figures like celebrities or politicians, there's the insulation of wealth and security details in gated communities that makes them feel safer. Whereas alternative media pundits, we're kind of out here on our own ass. So I agree and disagree, just to summarize it. I agree that people should be willing to back the things that they say, and our space is plagued by pundits who hide behind alter egos, and they say wild shit for attention, and they would be a lot better, or the world would be a lot better off if those people didn't do what they did. But I also understand the security. Yeah, but I understand the security concern, the legitimate security concerns of average people in the space.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and that's even something that I struggle with, because I don't care if people come after me. I mean, ideally not like IRL, but like you keep my family out of it. Like I've got 2 kids,
but people are fucking crazy.
But people are crazy. Now I do wonder though about, I mean, any professional journalist, they have to put their names to all of their work, and they in theory open themselves up to all of the same issues that you just described. I think it's probably amplified by the fact that people, does seem that the audience that this world attracts is a little uniquely there's more yahoos here in this space at proportionate to probably traditional media.
Well, this is my challenge. I've been thinking about this for days now, because I view my role as a lot different than the people who have skyrocketed in popularity. And then I also wonder about the models for success in media commentary. And I also even think about the Warhammer channel as an example. So with the Warhammer channel, you're not coming to me because I'm a gigabrain genius, whatever. And you just fell in love with the concept of Connor and counterpoints. What happens is I took a vehicle that was already popular and I just research about it and I talk about it, and I'm not so much the thing that you're coming for, you're coming for the thing that you're already attracted to. And so when it comes to alternative media punditry, something that I've seen with people who have skyrocketed popularity, now maybe they have a belief set that vaguely aligns with conservatism, or maybe they have a belief set, I'm thinking of Sneeko, that vaguely aligns with like red pill and man, whatever, like MRA shit and going your own way, but also banging e-thoughts and being Muslim and all the weird shit that he's doing. But what I think those guys are doing though, is they're not them own selves and then putting out what they believe, and then they're de facto popular. They're tapping into a cultural phenomena that already exists. And so, but the problem with that is you get into a audience creator feedback loop where what...
Yeah, no, Landre is, I think he's more susceptible to the conspiracy stuff than like me or maybe even Destiny, you know? Get bited, Numal. No, I'll just keep on. Kill this guy. Ooh. 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 I'm trying not to over-level Slambo. Fuck. Go Shadowrun. Delete a move for... Raise electrical resistance. We don't need that. Okay.
What ends up happening is you're just saying what that group of people want to hear instead of the truth or a problem.
Oh, 1 second. Is it a video? Oh. U.S. Muslims pledged to ditch Biden in 2024 over his stance on Israel-Gaza war. Okay. What do I think of that? I think that when it comes time to choose between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, everyone's going to completely forget about Israel-Palestine.
Probably what they need to hear. So I don't think Sneeko's people need to hear like, hey, work 70 hours a week, become a social media influencer, bang Instagram models, but also be Muslim. That's not what they need to hear. What they need to hear is get your shit together, wash your balls, get a fucking job, start paying your fucking bills, and then focus on yourself instead of consuming this fucking false prophet. So that's actually that. Sorry for ranting, but that's what I believe the space is. It's filled with false prophets.
Yeah. So I kind of had an epiphany the other day where it kind of occurred to me that one of the things that I got really wrong about my assessment of this space initially, which I think led me astray in a lot of respects for quite a while, was I felt like the people who act like they take all this stuff seriously actually take it seriously. And I feel like the epiphany was, oh, for the most part, the people who tune into their favorite streamer on a very regular basis, they don't actually take this stuff that seriously. I mean, like when somebody's tuning into, whether it's Destiny or Hassan or name whatever streamer, I feel like it's just like they're hanging out with their friends. Not so much that they are coming to them as an expert. The question is like, what are the ratios? Because if there's a significant number of people in any of those audiences who are going to them as their primary source of political information and an analysis, and that's how they're shaping their own politics, then the streamer should take more responsibility and people should hold them more accountable. But then at the same time, like I said, if it's mostly that people are just kind of like just thinking around and hanging out with their friends and memeing.
But yeah, so I agree with you that this is something that a lot of people have, or I think Vosh in particular has.
I think that streaming as a medium for content is going to be just like everyone hanging out. I think that he's right on that. It's more like a friend relationship because, like, I mean, with me, this might be changing since I guess like if I put Pokemon Nuzlocke in YouTube titles, then it just brings in a bunch of random people, which is pretty great. Hey guys, if you're new here, right? I don't think it's affecting us today, but usually the past couple of days we've been tripled on our YouTube viewership. But like, I know all of the people in my chat, right? I can identify like their general personality, generally speaking, how they interact with me in chat. So like, I come onto a stream and I'm basically playing a video game and hanging out with my like pals, my buddies on the internet. And I get like, 0.001 cent every time an ad plays on YouTube, and I'm just like kind of chilling. And I give my political opinions, and sometimes I get to argue with people, and that's all fun and games and like cool and stuff. As a medium, that's what streaming is. So when people like in that still scales up, like everyone who watches Destiny probably feels like they know him a little bit, right? So they see him as a little bit of a friend, right? Because he might respond to them every once in a while in chat or some shit. So you're going to have a very different engagement with a streamer than you will with a YouTuber, than you will with a TikTok creator, than you will with a news pundit that's on CNN,
Has brought up multiple times, is that a lot of people in Twitch and YouTube politics, and I think he criticizes lefties in particular on this, is that it's just a social club. That's all it is. Like, you have gamer bros, you got people who play Call of Duty, you got people who play fight games, you got people who play Warhammer, you got people who, they like to hunt or whatever, they got a hobby, and then they build a social space around their hobbies, and then they mix up their identity in that thing. And so with Twitch and YouTube politics, what it is I think we like to think that we're smarter, we like to think that we're better informed, we like to think that we're more in tune with history and politics and philosophy and all that kind of stuff. And then with that veneer of, intelligence and study and all that kind of stuff, we like to look down on all the plebeians who are interested in normie bullshit. And then we like to wrap up sex drama and tribal drama and all that kind of stuff into it. So you're right. It's majority a social space, and then the political tribalism and analysis is almost a second thought. But what I like about the development of the space, because I've been here, I don't know, probably 3 years now, is that I do see evolutions in perception that go over time. And I think it's because the audience grows in their lives outside of Twitch and YouTube politics, so their tastes change a little bit, but also the creators build up a body of work in which you can see all their flaws and mistakes. So I think that the only reason why, in my perception, of course, because I'm a certified Hassan hater, the reason why Willie Mac Show was able to take such a fucking huge bite out of Hassan to his face is because Hassan has made a few years of mistakes, and all of his haters have been bringing it up consistently. But the internal audience, would always make excuses and all that kind of stuff. But when you have Willie Mac Show, who's effectively a drama YouTuber, and Hassan picks him because he's like, I'm going to get an easy dub against this dumbass, ahistorical, apolitical commentary guy. And the commentary guy's like, no, let me drag you back to the argument on why you're wrong and why you suck. I think you pierce that armor, and I think you take hits out of it. So people might still watch Hassan for his commentary or think he's cool, or they're jealous of his lifestyle or whatever. But I still think that as 14-year-old kids who want to bang porn stars become 25-year-olds adults with careers, they're going to realize like, oh, this guy's like, he's handsome and he bangs porn stars and he's rich, but he's also kind of a fucking loser. And he also is kind of retarded. And I think people will learn that.
Yeah. I guess two things. One, when I brought up the difference between like when to take people seriously and when to not take them seriously, I feel like one of the things I screwed up with initially was if you're talking about somebody like Destiny, for example, if he's streaming for 8 hours, if 6 of those hours is basically just like him with his bros, he might say some off-color shit because he's just hanging with his bros and they're just shooting the shit, they're memeing with each other. And when I'm with my friends or when I'm with my brother, there are probably things that are said there that I wouldn't want to be like entered into the public record about me as a serious individual. But then it feels like, I guess my shift is I kind of don't give a shit about the 6 hours part. Before I might have been like, oh my god, he said that naughty word, or that, like, he's a serious person that people come to for, like, he's that should be like totally discrediting, totally just.
Did you see Did you see the most recent Destiny N-word clip?
I did. And then
so much.
It was
like, I would never say the N-word.
And that's a perfect example, I guess, of like if me a year ago would have seen that, I would have been like, what the fuck? He's one of the most influential left-wing political commentators. He should not be saying stuff like that because he's serious. Or I take him seriously because other people take him seriously. But what I realize now is it's like, I'll hold people to that high standard when they are like in a debate or when they are on a panel, because that's when they're actually taking themselves seriously. And that's when I think other people should properly take them seriously. So if he said the N-word in a like formal debate, that would probably not go over as well as if he just said it in the way that he did.
Well, okay, so this is interesting to me because I still think that there's a level of performativity even in debates. So for instance, like, or panels in politics. Well, yeah, but just as an example, I brought this up. My audience knows this rant. I'll try to keep it brief. But basically, like, I joke about creating the United Imperium of the Americas, right? Where like the United States annexes Central America down to the Darien Strait, south of Panama Canal, and then we help Colombia recreate Gran Colombia in the northern part of South America, and they partner with Brazil in order to create the southern United States of America. And so this isn't a real policy, right? Because it would actually involve like let's just say that we were taking me seriously for a second. It would actually involve English-speaking American military members going into Central America, getting into gunfights with narco cartels and gangs, horrific violence being done to American military service members while they were like in the rear with the gear. I expect some of them would get like kidnapped and murdered like horribly, and they would be like, they would get their heads chainsawed off on whatever that website is that people post like gore videos on it. I forget what it is. LiveLeak. You would have American military service members executed in grisly ways on LiveLeak. You would have untold deaths of Central and South Americans and all that kind of stuff. And then maybe eventually you would see like a positive result, right? Which would be like this united free trade area that brings stability to Central and South America. And then as a result, like the Americas flourish. And so, but nestled in that is a real idea. And the real idea is that Central and South America need security. They need to be rid of corruption. They need better trade agreements that are more equitable with like the northern United States.
SDA?
We need to not see these people as some far off.
What do I think of this clip?
You said nigga like 1 month ago. I would never even utter.
I saw this clip. It's funny.
At Destiny, you said nigga like 1 month ago. I would never even utter that disgusting fucking word. I would never, ever, in any circumstance, would I ever fucking say that. So that is not true. At Destiny, you said nigga.
I think it's funny. I don't care.
Distant land that we go get drunk at, and it's like a fantasy.
By the way, we're going to have to end stream pretty soon, just so you guys know. All right, so you're not taken off guard and upsetty spaghetti because I have to, do real life stuff like go to work, even though I am still slightly hungover. So this is my final shill. I don't like shilling, but if you want to raid me after you end, okay, based. Wait, SDA, link me your kick, okay? In DMs so I can follow you. Yeah, this is my last shill. If you guys want to sub to me, if you guys want to gift any subs, now is a great time because we're not going to be streaming for very much longer. If you're on YouTube and you haven't subscribed already, we do mostly a lot of, political conversations, but we're also tapping into that Pokemon autistic Nuzlocke, hardcore Nuzlocke run market. So if you guys want to do the membership thing, we'll find something for the memberships. We'll find a reason. If people want to start doing memberships, we'll give you a reason to, we'll make it worth your money, okay? We'll find some way for you.
And then we just come back to our real lives here, and they shouldn't be just endless drug factories of poverty and corruption. That's really what I'm saying. Now, if the entirety of the United States backs me and they're like, yes, Connor, invading South and Central America is based, let's do it, then maybe as like the centrist dictator, I would do it. But what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to get people to reconceptualize the way that we view geopolitics and poverty and wealth and trade and all that kind of stuff. Because right now, it seems like the American foreign policy is perfectly happy to just let these people wallow in misery, corruption, poverty, and unfair trade. So I know that I've been talking for a while, but the point is that I will bring up the invade Central and South America policy as if I'm serious on a panel, but that's not really what I'm talking about. And so I don't find myself alone in this rhetorical tactic. Like Doobie, for instance, I think he's a semi-popular debater on the Prime Kai Reverie Roundtable. I find him taking extreme positions all the time, just to fuck with people and make them think about ideas.
Yeah, and that none of that is problematic unless people have a reverence for the credibility of the people who are saying these things that is higher than it should be. And I wanted to ask you, I feel like I'm sympathetic to your views of keeping, the privacy of the creators for all the reasons you described. But then I also wonder about like, if somebody is talking, and it's especially important in the political space, because if you're talking about like policies related to children, for example, or policies related to like domestic violence, you're talking about rape accusations against somebody, and you are talking, you're pontificating about the details and the standards and okay, if that person who is talking about these topics is using a pseudonym to do it, people are taking them seriously. But if you were to find out their real name and you do a little bit of research about who they are, you find out that one of them's a pedophile. The other one has actually like punched their wife or choked them. That would be pretty important information to have before you are trying to figure out how seriously you ought to take that person's perspective on these things.
Do you have any names in mind? You don't have to say them if you don't.
No.
But hold on. So I agree with you there. And this is even...
here's one for you.
One thing that Landre does that I'm not like super comfortable with, he's really big into finding people's backgrounds. He's essentially like a very effective doxer. I don't think that that's really like the best thing for someone to do. I can't stop anyone from doing it. I can't really even tell him not to do it, but bro, I don't know. He is he wilds out on that shit a lot. Okay.
When we first interacted like a year and a half ago, before I kind of became a little leery of you, I commented on, I think the first time I saw you doing a debate or panel was regarding the Don't Say Gay bill. And I commented or tweeted that it was nice to know that there was at least one parent on that panel, because I found myself as a liberal / progressive Democrat agreeing with you, in part because I'm like, dude, there's no fucking way that anybody on this panel who are saying these other things could have children, and say that. But at the end of the day, you're talking about policies that impact children and thereby parents. And then you've got these like 20-something jackasses who don't have kids, who have no interest in having children, don't understand what that's like, and they're having this enormous influence on these policies in a very real way, when they probably shouldn't be like, nobody should give a shit.
Couple of minutes of
what do they know?
Yeah, so this is, I'm gonna be a little mean to somebody who I consider an internet friend, but like Synth, for instance, she transitioned later in life. She felt like she got fucked over by the system because she wasn't allowed to talk about trans issues or gender identity or whatever in school, and so she was taking issue with my more conservative perspective on like what kids should be shared with and when. And so I kind of took her perspective into account, because she just mentioned the fact that it's like, hey, you're saying that all of this educational stuff should be presented in a liberal way. Like, there's multiple choices here as a young person that you can make. This is what religious people believe. This is what secular people believe, et cetera, et cetera. You as a young budding adult, you need to make your own decisions. And I felt like that was like a reasonable compromise. And she was like, oh yeah, well, as the truth is that like puberty kind of hits a little bit earlier. Actually, it's towards the end of elementary school. And I was like, okay, that's a decent compromise. But then,
is that
not
what this
not to
segment
shit
is
on them too
on?
hard, because it is Twitter after all. I think in the past like couple of weeks, I just see the most like disgusting, brutally sexual, gross fucking tweet about like sex shit ever. And it's just like, why the fuck would I, I already felt like my original perspective was reasonable. Why the fuck would I take your opinion into consideration when you're kind of like intentionally posting upsetting, gross sexual shit online that a bunch of other people are going to see? And so that's where I feel like being online, creating a persona, and then having any kind of personality whatsoever and any kind of following, it leads to you having a credence that if you were in a face-to-face conversation and you said the wild shit that you were saying on social media, people would not take you seriously at all. They would laugh you out of the fucking meeting, basically.
Yeah, but I mean, I even think of how many times I have commented on different panels, just in the chat, like, hey, could like Wick, for example. I feel like I've asked him, like, hey, Wick, can you ask for a show of hands of how many of these people are parents, just because I'm curious. And
but
like,
you already know the answer,
right? But it's yeah.
So people are reading that. People are reading that as an attack.
But the thing is, then you'll have all of these comments replying, saying, what like that matters at all? Like, why does that matter? And it's like, because it does. In the same way that the lefties will often say, like, oh, here's this panel talking about women's rights and abortion, and it's all a bunch of old dudes. Like, okay, if that is a relevant dynamic there, then it's also a relevant dynamic when you're talking about setting policies for like what kind of sexual conversations we're having with kids in the classroom.
I have stopped expecting fairness a long time ago. And I think I think my goal, relatively speaking, I'm trying to do a weekly show with Brianna Wu, which so far, out of a month of allegedly doing this together, we've gotten one weekend. But she's in tune with the Democrats. She has access to money, et cetera, et cetera. So my goal is to take some of that money, time, attention, influence, whatever, and try to make it into something real. Because the truth is that I don't entirely agree with Chud Logic and Queeman, who are content nihilists. They literally believe that none of this matters. It's all a bunch of autists getting together, smashing into each other for content, people having wild takes and all that kind of stuff. The only thing it's good for is laughing or making fun of them. And then the only thing that is interesting on top of that is people having sex with each other, and then the explosion of drama and failed relationships as a result of people having sex with. That's all they care about, is they care about the personal days of our lives style soap opera that happens in Twitch politics that people are enamored with.
They sound
but then somebody
bad.
like Chud, by the way, who I've had a total evolution of my relationship with him too. He and I are in good terms now, so I'm willing to say this about him because I think he will, if he catches this clip, would understand where I'm coming from. It does strike me as very ironic that somebody like Chud, I would love to understand his logic for why somebody like him spends every day, 8 hours a day, like digging into the nitty-gritty details of the personal lives of other people, but then is always quick to say, well, I'm a very private person. You don't try to find out information about me, because it's like, well, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, right? And I think he would probably say that these other people put this stuff out there.
Well,
and he's really reacting to what's public already. But at the same time,
that is his defense, because he has mentioned in the past that he does not, put his relationship status out there. He doesn't bring his girlfriend on or whatever. Or, I know he's not gay, so I don't think it's a boyfriend. But he doesn't. All right, he doesn't bring his bisexual twink fucking girlfriend, boyfriend, they be partner out on a stream. And the reason why they don't do that, or he doesn't do that, is because he has kids. Yeah. So he doesn't have, or he has kids. I think he, as far as I know, he's on relatively good terms with his wife, or his ex-wife, but he doesn't want that spilling over to affect his kids, and he also doesn't want it spilling over and affecting his relationship, so he's very private. Whereas, I know more about Destiny's sex life than I know about, my own sex life. And so
it's weird.
On one hand, yeah, it's a little bit fucking weird. I find it weird. I don't really, whenever there's drama around, Destiny's sex life, I don't really cover it unless it's just, unless there's some interesting aspect of it, right? Like the Anna, the Anna saga, okay? That one was interesting to me, okay? There was some crazy shit going on there with OCD, with mental illness. There was shit that you could talk about that wasn't just Destiny being a sex degenerate. Man, I'll tell you something. It is weird how people hyper analyze people's personal lives. Now, granted, I will say that Chud's defense and Spicy Chat and all these, self-destruct? No, we don't want that. They do have a very valid defense in that he's making it public. He's making it part of his content. Therefore, it is totally fair game. Yeah, I actually agree with that. If you're going to be the guy that's going to make your content all about your sex life, or you make content on your sex life, and that's going to be part of your relationship with your chatters and shit, I don't know if you retain the rights to be upset when people talk about it, because you're the one who brought it up. 15-2. What is 15-2 again? Is that the cherry? How many times everyone came? Shit.
Really close to home,
right. So,
but not anything that we've asked for.
Well, but then it's also like a bus crash. I can't tear myself away from it. I was gonna quote tweet this because somebody took they did 35-second clips of Destiny vague posting about whatever drama he's in right now, and he's vague posting, and I wanted to quote tweet and be like, how can I make this drama about me? But that's that's how that's the instinct as a creator is how do I
15 times in 2 days? Oh, gotcha. I miss you doing Roxanne fight, but did you see the original Roxanne character art? Roxanne original. Images. Uh-oh, earphone's about to die. Her thighs were thicker than her waist? I'm not seeing this artwork that you're talking about. Where's the artwork? Give me the thick thigh artwork. Give me the thick thigh artwork right now. Just pull up her Bulbapedia? Okay. I'm not sure if I'm seeing it. Maybe my definition of thick thighs and yours are very different.
Inject myself into this? How do I get into the center of the attention? How do I get myself into the center of the drama or whatever? Or how am I peripheral on the drama so I can catch some spillover attention as we comment on it? But then you also realize that like he's a real human being who's dealing with real shit, and he acts like none of this stuff bothers him. But you can tell that it kind of does. And so anyways, the whole reason why I went on that tangent is just because it's like I see Chud's logic behind the way that he conducts business, and I think it's good for his business.
Her waist.
But I also think that he goes too far with the nihilism, where he just doesn't believe that anything productive can come from this space at all.
Yeah, and it's weird because when Chud is at his best, in my view, he
I'm just grabbing something
in debates is one of the best, one of the most compelling. When he, I guess, sheds the God, I'm trying to figure out where my Shepherd Cane back yanker thing is. I couldn't find it the other day.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's awesome. But mine's blue. It's kind of gay compared to your big
I have a blue one too if it's smaller.
Oh yeah, well, but I guess with Chud, I feel like when he's at his worst, he kind of foments the worst elements of this space because of the nihilism part. But what I think is interesting, just from like a philosophical standpoint, is that when he talks about
does this do anything for your
the valid reasons why he does not want to become more public about the things he's very careful to keep private and keep separate from what he does in the public eye, there's an inherent acknowledgement of how awful this space and the people that are being drawn into it and how bad it is. So it's like he's creating the thing that even he knows he wouldn't want to come anywhere near him as a real person. And but I feel like that's the case with so many of these people, and it's probably a more obnoxious phenomenon when Chud doesn't take himself seriously.
Oh damn it!
But then when you have people who do take themselves seriously, but don't, they are just as guarded as Chud is about trying to figure out like this person's trying to pretend they're an academic, but could I see like what's your academic background?
That doesn't bother me as much, and maybe that's my next step. So my frustration is that I think food shops, I don't know if you're aware of the drama, but basically
I only know I only know that they are like
I can passingly summarize it, which is
please do.
Food Shops has run panels and done debates and conversations and all that kind of stuff. They're a trans gal to my knowledge. They were friends with Reservoir. They admitted to consuming lolicon as a part of their pornographic diet. For those of you who don't know, lolicon is deliberately drawn underage, Japanese girls who are in provocative sexual scenarios. And she said that like, hey, I'm not, attracted to children, but I do consume this as my pornographic diet because it aligns with some of my tastes in petite women and sub-dom play and like all that kind of shit. And
okay, I've already went way over time. All right, sorry, I have to raid out. I didn't realize that it was past 3:30. I gotta go. We are going to raid into Shaved Dog's ass, friend of the stream. Let me go ahead and throw him a follow, and then let's find the raid function, host channel, Shaved Dog's ass. All right, YouTube people, love you guys very much, but I have to go to work. Love ya. Catch you next time.